What I call a battle axe.
Whoa! Hey, what's up, everybody? Walaikum salam, Philip. We got the real Aaron Collins in the building. What's up? Namer. Philip. The Enforcer. Bruce Almighty. Oh, man. Had to take a nap before starting this shit. Accepted this position as a sergeant for the small police agency for the public markets in Baltimore. So it's kind of like sergeant of the goddamn law. How y'all doing today? How y'all doing, Lord Gino in the building? Thank you, F Holiday, for your secrets for your Cash App. Oh yeah, thank you. I just felt like playing, Panthers theme. It's on No Guts, No Glory, people. Shit. Sorry I started late, but better late than never, right? Business is about to pick up, god damn it. Plus, I'm off tomorrow, so what the fuck. We about to throw Kamehamehas out the window. I don't know about you motherfuckers, but when I see them do that, The first time I screamed, like, yo. Without further ado, let's start it up.
By the power of Grayskull.
You may have heard these words before, but I'll teach you what they really mean. Go beyond! Plus!
We got the snowman in the building, the abominable snowman. Oh, man. That's from Bruce Almighty the Last. I don't care what nobody said. He has a better DDT than even Jake the Snake. I'm sorry. His shit was so smooth. That is smooth as shit for a DDT. Boom! You want to see the smoothest DDT he ever hit? Look at the one he hit Ric Flair with. That shit was so fucking smooth. The one he hit Ric Flair with when Brian Pillman kicked Ric Flair in the back of the head and he caught him. Boom! Yeah, you know, tell him the man in black sent you. Was he talking about me? Yeah, that was a hard scene as well. Thus, T nuts. Yo, Chuck, we need a manosphere NWO propaganda video. Oh, man. We do need an NWO for the Black Manosphere, don't we? Oh, my God. We need one, man. We need an NWO fucking thing. Oh, my God. We do need one. Oh, man. That was classic, man. Classic. I don't know nothing about that. Shout out to Dusty Nuts. I'm mad he actually had that name and I didn't figure that one out. Oh, man. What's going on? What's going on? Shit. It's kind of weird being a supervisor now. It's not that I don't know the job, it's that you forget you're a supervisor. You've been one of the boys for so long, you know. Now you got to make sure the boys are doing what they're supposed to do and keep them out of trouble. Oh, Noah Hart wasn't able to do it today, so picking up the slack. Sometimes we got to pick up each other's slack. Don't worry. We're going to have fun today, though. We got GRD Outfitters. So what's been new with everybody? I'm listening in the building. I say one thing about you motherfuckers, y'all don't sleep for shit. I don't sleep for a goddamn thing. And I love every second of it. Hit the Cash App, hit the Super Chat. Shit. We staying up all night long, the way the ladies like it. Ugh, hey. Gotta clear that throat. Been reading up on younger Andreas impact hypothesis, how our star is cutting up. My pick for tomorrow, Eagles. They have a lot of momentum. But, you know, Patrick Mahomes is basically the modern day Brady. So you're going to get tired of seeing him in Super Bowls. Heru in the apocalypse. Thank you, bro. What it do? God damn it, what it do? I'm gonna tell you one of the funniest things working at this new position. One of the funniest things that's been done. Me and the Padawang actually got the number from the same girl, and we act like we don't know each other. It's funny. It is so hilarious. Some of these bras will, they will talk to you and mess with two guys at the same time. They will do that shit. I mean, don't think this chick don't have integrity now. Don't trust them new niggas over there. I think Philly got a lot of, and it's funny because I'll go back to this for a second. It's funny because when I started this position as a sergeant for this police agency, it's security and police and special police. And as soon as people could tell and smell the new off of you, I think it's hilarious. Right down to the part where when the captain who runs it is basically telling me all these chicks are asking about you. I said, is this true? I think I think I need to find out why a guy like me is so irresistible. But the point being is, you never know who's watching you, man. And females will mate check, and they're not afraid to get, especially if you're the new guy, and they're like, you got to play their, you got to play their shit to their advantages, man. You got to play their head to their advantages. Because God knows, and we definitely know, that females have an ego. And they're going to try everything in their goddamn power to get your attention, even when they act like they don't want it. We know that. What's the whole deal with Dennis leaving the manosphere? Personally, I don't know. Secondly, I kind of don't care. Here's the part about it. Was the manosphere here before him? I mean, you got all these people like MTR saying this shit. Was the manosphere before you? You're still talking and using the same talking points. It's kind of hard to leave when you're still fucking the girl after the dance. It's still kind of hard for you to say, I don't want to be here. No, you're still going to carry the manosphere with you no matter what. I'll put it to you this way. If your boy Falk leaves, are you going to find somebody else to listen to? Yes. Yes. So I don't know what the fuck's going on when people say this stupid shit. What the fuck for doing it? It makes no sense. I mean, if it's somebody like something like a BGS or somebody like that, or a Dr. Tiason Johnson, yeah, the manosphere might take a hit. The manosphere would take a hit because that's somebody who's very integral to it. Dennis, to a certain degree, mm, not as much. Not as much. I hate to say it, but if I'm going to be truthful, not as much. I mean, people forget that there's plenty of people who say they left this space, and you know, nobody's gonna boo-hoo you all day long, okay? Nobody's gonna boo-hoo you, man. Nobody's gonna boo-hoo you. Have you seen the video of that lady barbecued and ate her ex-dog on TikTok because he cheated? I'm gonna say something to that, man. A lot of these broads, unfortunately, are mentally skewed. You get mad at your boyfriend cheating, so you're gonna kill an innocent animal and eat it. Um, that bitch was sick a minute ago. Like something was wrong with her anyway, and it fucking shows. It fucking shows. And we need to stop allowing this behavior to be normalized. We really do. Because a lot of these bitches out here are sick as shit. A lot of them are sick as shit. You putting all your faith into this person. Oh, he cheated. You know what you ladies should do, and I'm gonna give you a game. If you want a man to cheat, give him threesomes every once in a while. Let him have a side chick. Why don't you pick one of your homegirls who ain't getting no dick and she looks half decent, has a has a nice body, decent face, and y'all might as well just share the nigga. That way you don't have to worry about cheating. But no, you motherfuckers want to go against a man's biology thinking that your pussy is all he needs. No, bitch, your pussy is like a hoopy rental. It's good for a while, but you're gonna want better. Nobody wants to nobody wants to talk about reality, man. You put all your faith in one person, people tend to disappoint. People very much tend to disappoint. And I don't know what to tell you. I seriously don't know what to tell motherfuckers. I seriously don't know what to tell motherfuckers. You got to be a very delusional bastard not to understand that, one, human beings are very finite. So to put your faith into that, to drive you to do some sick shit like that says you had mental issues for a very long time. Charles, you talked about a lot about girls trying to get guys' attention. Have you seen these gym videos? Oh yeah, oh yeah. See, what's happening now is that a lot of guys are being called creeps and creepy and all this other shit, and now they don't really want to be called that. So when chicks get hurt in the gym, or they're trying to lift some weight that they shouldn't been lifted in the first goddamn place, men are not trying to get that. Men are not trying to get that. Women have priced themselves out the dating market. You got to approach men now. And because women never really had to compete for men like that, especially in our community, look how look how dumbfounded they are. Look how dumbfounded these chicks are, man. They never had to compete. And now competition's being wiped clean. And especially since people can work online now and get passports, the sexual dating market has now been outsourced. It's been outsourced, man. If a chick don't want to deal with you here, and the average, and a lot of chicks are fours and fives, and you can go to another country and get seven, eights, nines, and tens for a tenth of the price. Shit, 90% off, baby. 90 fucking percent off. And I don't blame dudes. I really don't blame dudes, man. Why settle for a chick that ain't all that, but then wants to give you the whole Rumcamboa bullshit? She wants to give you the whole Rumcamboa of bullshit. You gotta forgive me getting over this head cold. Got Simply Deep in here. Well, here's the problem with all the female gems. They crave male. Well, they have them. They have all female sessions and shit like that. But they crave male attention. Females literally will die without it. So, yeah. They literally die without it, man. Females will tell you all this dumb shit that's going on. And not a goddamn person will ever say, well, it's the male's fault. They'll always blame us for their shortcomings, which I think is so fucking hilarious. If you really think about it. It's literally our fault because they suck. They don't cook because they suck. I was on a phone texting my ex-girlfriend, and I asked her, but she said, well, I don't think I should do all the work. I said, well, here's my thing. I'm not going to do any feminine work around the goddamn house. Yeah, I could cook, I could clean, but what the fuck you going to do? You need to do it out of love and duty. Just like when men go outside and cut grass. Love and duty. See, American or westernized women are just some of the laziest motherfuckers you can find, man. They ain't good for a goddamn shit. They really not. I blame their stupid ass mamas for teaching them to be lazy. You shouldn't cook or clean, and then you never realize why your mom kept a dirty ass house. Never realized that, huh? A lot of niggas don't realize when you look at this chick, go to her mom's house, and I bet your mom nasty as fuck. It never fucking fails. Never fucking fails. Never fucking fails, man. I don't think I should cook and clean. What the fuck you gonna do? You gonna protect the house? Bitch, what are you, Under Armour? You gonna protect this house? But yet, like you said, Lord Juno, they'll put that work on the job, though. They'll put all that work on the job. They'll put all the work on the job, man. They'll go to that goddamn boss, do everything in their power to please that motherfucker. Like, okay, I'll clean the toilets. We won't clean up their damn toilet. And see, I can tell that is really something against black men. I can really tell that. It's only because you're a black man and they feel as though you're beneath them. That's all. Well, I think you guys are trying to take advantage of these women. No, this is how the women were trained. Sorry, sorry. This is how the women were trained. Are you blocked? No, you're not blocked.
What's going on?
Oh, G-Minus. Hey, how you going, G-Minus? But here's the damn problem. A lot of women are getting chosen because, one, you're lazy. How is it that other races of women can lose that baby fat, but y'all keep it on? The fuck's up with that? Yes, your man should cheat on you for getting overweight. Yes, your man should cheat on you. let me back that up. If you're not trying to keep up your appearance the same, at least as close to what you got them before you had kids, yeah, your man should be able to do what he needs to do. He should. Because guess what? I'm going to juxtapose that statement to a lot of ladies out there. How long would you be with your man if he didn't have a job before you leave him for another one? Hello. You ain't got a cash app for that? You ain't got a super chat for that? How many of these women will leave your ass when you lose your value? So when you lose your beauty, should we treat you the same goddamn way? Let's be really fucking serious. A lot of you women will leave a man for the simplest of reasons. So if men say, well, you're not as attractive as you used to be to me, I'm leaving. You got 6 months to lose the weight. After that, I'm getting a side bitch or 3, and you can have it. You can have at thee. What if men start playing those games? He left me because I was too fat. I can't believe he said I was fat. Yeah, he lost his job. You left him. You will leave him. What's the difference? What's the fucking difference? And you're only doing this because you think men have no value. Any more questions? Let's be very serious about some shit, right? You can't go around acting like we don't have value that's equal or even greater to than most of the females you talk to. I mean, let's put it out there. So it's not raw. Now, before we begin, does anybody want to get off? Because let's really face it, people. Let's continue to face it. let's continue to face the facts that a lot of times, and that's the link for anybody who wants to get up. The issue for a lot of people is that nobody wants to live in fucking reality. Oh, it's not fair. Why do we gotta do this? Because it's called life. Oh, life, my nigga. Called life. Good sir, why is it so hard for us to do this? It's not fair. Life's so hard. It's supposed to be. It really is supposed to be difficult as fuck. It's not a nice place to live. Nobody's gonna feel sorry for you. Just like I would tell the females, who feels sorry for men? That's why men can be a certain way. Yeah, they do complain a lot. You know why? Because when you put them on the stand and say, okay, why should we even give a fuck about you? Why should we even buy into your bullshit? They don't have any qualities that really men absolutely need. Back in the day, you needed somebody to take care of your kids, clean and cook. Now it's gotten so bad that men actually can cook better and clean better than women. So what's the point? What's the point even having you around? You can literally, you know, give a chick fucking a couple of dollars, hit, and get the fuck out. You don't even really need serious relationships. You could just friends with benefits. Once in a while, you get horny, call her up. That is it. There's no benefit. There's literally almost no benefit in long-term relationships anymore. What's up, Truth?
What's up, Charles? What's the followers? How you doing?
Chilling. Been a minute.
Yeah, it has, man.
Hopefully,
Priorities.
hopefully it's positive shit.
Yeah, priorities. School and trying to figure out, what is the main purpose of what I'm going to be doing as a young man. And like you were saying, the topic you were saying about women is, I think it's very pivotal what this space actually does in general in the conversation. Because I really had to disconnect that stronghold from my mind, trying to chase women and wondering why I can't get them and all this other stuff. And no, I guess it's not really as important as I thought it was.
The problem with a lot of dudes is this. A lot of dudes think women are a goal. I should get this job. I should get these clothes. No, you should get the clothes because you like them. You should get this job because it pays your bills, or you like the amount of money you can make, or the benefits it brings. You shouldn't do things for women. Women are a byproduct of success, not the goal. And that's literally what I tell younger men. Like, yo, stop trying to impress these bras. These bras give dirty fucking niggas much more achievement and well wishes than anybody else.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
a lot of women of my age that I've noticed, their values are very shallow. Like they're how you say they're just their values are just very compromised. They're very outspoken with it, and it's just not something I'm really valuing. They say they want one thing out of their mouth in terms of this kind of guy, upright, upstanding, moral, but
Here's the blatant truth about that, right?
yeah.
Okay, let me see what he says. Hypothetical: how to respond get enticed into something freaky by your significant other. Well, I mean, hey, it's just significant other. You should be enticed. But the point being is that a lot of guys are afraid to admit that there are certain men women will break their word for. You got to get over that. Like, yes, there are certain guys women will break their whole fucking word for. They won't even say, "Hey, why you get excuse me." Well, I would never sleep with somebody on the first date. Let it be somebody they're strongly attracted to. They would sleep with that nigga on the first date. I'm sorry.
Which is fine. It just dramatically changes their perspective of the caliber of person I'm dealing with, and you kind of got to deal with that, Say you want somebody loyal and honest, but you're a fraud in sheep's clothing at times. A lot of women of lower class, but I notice it's not really a class thing at times. It's a nature thing,
It's not a class thing. It's a culture thing.
a culture thing. Yeah.
It's really what the fuck it is. I mean, you look at it and you like, yeah. None of you broads are like putting into work, but it's for niggas who they find attractive. They'll break every rule for a certain dude or a certain level of attention. They'll do it.
For a certain I guess a certain need. Another thing is I'm confused on when they comes to getting that dude, Charles. My thing is, why don't you just attach all your needs to that person and then qualify all your living requirements to what he makes. It seems you want a little bit of everything. It's like a person that's walking around that says they want a piece of pumpkin pie, and then they get a piece of pumpkin pie, but they only take the frosting off the top of it, and then they go get the sprinkles from a Dunkin' Donut, and they throw all this stuff together, and then they call it the pumpkin pie, and then they say it's the thing they actually wanted from the front. When then we know at retrospect they just piece something together like pieces.
I mean, you gotta look at it. Here's where men fuck up. Men don't hold females to the fucking standards they hold themselves. Oh, okay. That's the nigga you like to fuck with? Tell that nigga take you out. Tell that nigga take you out. But you gotta take me. No. I know that broke ass, dusty ass nigga you had 2 babies by ain't taking to no goddamn Ruth Chris. Get the fuck out of here. See, they always try to like take out what men do, like go ahead and and basically pay for prices for used pussy. You supposed to pay top tier for this used beat up piece of shit.
Football team done ran through. I mean, shit look like Arby's roast beef in slow day. It's been sitting out.
Her pussy looked like every member of the 2,000-yard club ran through it.
In the football team. The whole football team. The backup, the reserve squad, not just the 200-yard, not just the stud categories, the reserve categories, practice squad too. They got all teams in practice.
But no, I'm valuable to whom?
Man.
To whom?
This is honestly, I mean, I've been reading the word more. I've really tried to study more of my scripture because I felt myself losing myself over the quarantine and my spirituality. we honestly live in modern day Babylon. You know, it's kind of weird how things are broken down. I've always tried to be a person that's tried to court more chicks, and it just never really worked for me. You know, never really worked out. Maybe that was a blessing in disguise, so my nature wouldn't be so, you know, disturbed and, you know, changed by this caliber of, you know, females in modern day. But I mean, still, it's just odd.
I mean, there's virtually almost no purpose for them anymore. They price themselves out in the Western world. It's like they want you to pay for laziness of vagina and give them a certain lifestyle that they're not afforded. You know, it's a lot of them are raised in single mother homes, but yet they want men to pay the bills. You never seen a man pay your mom's bills, so what the fuck are you talking about? Let's keep it a fucking.
And it's not. I hope you're not. I hope when you say that, you're not just talking about black women, because a lot of times people try to isolate this argument to black women, and it's really not. It's really every woman. You know?
It's a Western culture thing, but it affects us differently because our women are cultured differently.
True.
So it's gonna be a black problem, you know, a pronounced black problem because white women still get married more than black women. Black women really are taught not to be married. They're taught to be insufferable as fuck.
I think it's how much longer, Charles. We're gonna see.
That's the world part. Some shit that they could actually help, they don't like it.
Greetings, folks. Oh, wait, I said it all wrong. What I meant to say was, hey, yo. Once again, it's survey time. So it's everybody in the chat. Did you all came to see WCW? Or did you all come to see the WO? Survey says one more for the bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Oh, by the way, here's a thought that crossed my mind about the women and things. This, that, and a third. Where do they get these illusions of? And I'm connecting this with something that, you know, some of the Mr. Z's videos regarding the targeted advertisements towards our women of our generation and in Truth's generation, Charles, from a young age. When they got older, like, you know, we all grew up watching music videos, right? MTV, BET, and those of us out who were in the Middle East and Asia, we also saw Channel V, which is based in Singapore. If anybody's familiar with Star TV Network, what did they see? Like some of those hip hop artists, R&B artists. Look at all the women in the videos and shit.
They seen this, you know, lapse of luxury bullshit.
Yeah.
They seen this lapse of luxury bullshit that does not equate to reality. Like, think about it. The average black American household does not make that much.
If at all.
And especially if it's a single mother.
Oh, that's the worst. But then again, we got to ask the question. This has always got to be asked the question. Whenever I hear somebody say single mother, I got to ask the question. When you say single mother, what are we talking about exactly? We talking about women who just have kids out of wedlock? We talking about divorcees, widows?
Single mother is a woman who had children out of wedlock.
Who are not
unwed single mothers. So we have to put the caveat there sometimes because some people will eschew the numbers when it comes to these things. You know what I'm saying?
No, because here it is. You already know that it's almost 80% where black women are not getting married. So the
True.
overwhelming majority having, dreams of this, they're being delusions of grandeur, and you're just like, wow, they're allowed to get delusions of grandeur to a scale where God only knows how.
And they've never had somebody sit them down and bring them down to reality.
And that's part of the reason why you need fathers in the household, because fathers usually keep the kids grounded. And
An anchor of sorts.
your mama be telling your sons, oh, my boy can sing. He can really sing. Because she doesn't want to hurt that boy's heart. But when he goes outside and he sings and he gets laughed at, mom's not there to protect him. Stop trying to protect the fragile ego. Let him grow some scales. Let him grow some calluses. The only way you're going to get strength is through struggle.
I had teachers telling me, you got a lot of talent, a lot of potential. You just need a lot of focus on it. Somebody, I mean, and because of that, some people ask me, so you think I got talent? I said, and I could critique him. I could tell him, listen, there are scales to this. If this is what you want to do, you got to know what work you got to put in, right? You understand what this means? And I just let them tell them the truth. But in a way they can understand it. Not their, well, I'm not saying it to hurt their feelings. I'm just telling you, listen, if you got it, you don't. Some people don't have it.
And you got to realize a lot of things are gifts from God. Like, not every majority of people on Earth will never be LeBron James.
Oh, don't get me started. Don't get us started with LeBron James. We got Snowman here. You know he's gonna break it down.
999% will never be Mike Tyson.
Okay, that was more accurate, Charles. That was very more accurate.
Oh, 99.9% of people will never be anything externally great.
Because they don't want to put the work in.
It's not even put the work in. It's just that average is the norm.
True. Well, that's true.
Most people will never be King David and defeat Goliath. Sorry. We just lied.
Many of us are just going to be the foot soldiers on whose backs that the generals will achieve greatness.
It's funny because everybody's not going to be fucking Eisenhower. They shouldn't. There's a certain level of genius and grooming to be in certain levels that people just don't understand.
There's also a level of madness that people can never comprehend.
When you're in that side, you got to take. People can't take the fact that I may be sending these people to their deaths, and somehow you got to live with it.
You are the commander. At the end of the day, it's the commander's job to make sure everybody gets out of there alive. And it weighs heavy on him when he has to break the news that we lost somebody, and they got to recover that body and get it back, because no man gets left behind, as they say.
Some people are going to pay the sacrifice.
Do you remember in 300 when Xerxes and Leonidas came face to face?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when Xerxes says, I'm willing to sacrifice 1,000 of my men, and I am willing to die. And Leonidas retorted, and I'm willing to die for each and every single mine. You have many warriors. No, you have many slaves, but very few warriors, Xerxes.
Yeah.
Think about what he said right there, because it was interesting. Because what he said, people remember the day when free men stood up against tyranny. Leonidas knew he was going to die. Leonidas and the 300 Spartans, along with the countless hundreds of other Greeks, because remember, it wasn't just 300 Spartans in the actual Battle of Thermopylae.
No.
No?
I mean,
Just like the Battle of Marathon. I mean, if anybody's checked out History Channel and YouTube, there's some clips by History Channel about those two battles.
You're gonna get a lot of fucking. You're gonna have to have a certain type of will, a certain type of nerve about you, as they say. A certain type of nerve, a certain type of will, and unfortunately, people don't understand this shit.
I can give a good example of that. Take the Winter Olympics. 3 types of sports in particular.
Yep.
Yes, the Persians won, but think about it this way. Think about this way, son is Hot Raw. The battle at Thermopylae was the intentions was not to defeat the Persians at Thermopylae. It was to slow them down, so the rest of the rest of the Greek forces can assemble and have enough time to prepare themselves for whatever happened. And of course, some people forget about what happened at the Battle of Plataea, or what happened in the Battle of whatchamacallit, when the Athenians fought the Persians and achieved a great naval battle.
It's about how you lose too. It ain't just about how to get the win.
It was a suicide mission. It was a Thermopylae was basically a suicide mission.
Right. It's about how you get the win. Like,
it's not even. It's the fact that they said if we don't stop them, we're not going to have a chance to form up. They're just going to march down at the beach and just kill every goddamn thing.
Yeah. And they were willing to make that sacrifice. And he was willing to make that sacrifice. I remember, Charles, you always talk about the Battle of Adwa, right? The Ethiopian history?
Mm-hmm.
You got to go back. Yes. But you have to also think about another battle that happened about 9 years prior to that. The Battle of Dogali. That was the first time. This is deep. This is on the earth. This is a small town near a place called Dogali, which is about several kilometers from the port city of Massawa in Eritrea, when the Italians first arrived. This is 1887. From the port, they wanted to push forward, but Abyssinian forces, Midrabahari forces, and Abyssinian forces made a stand to keep them away from the foothills of the Eastern Scarpet, keep them at the coastline, because if they went past Dogali, they would have gotten a foothill into the highlands. That battle, under Ras Alula, who was the second in command of John IV, the emperor, they were able to fight. They were able to push them out and defeat them. That was the first true test, and the first time one of the first engagements they had with the Italians. But people forget that these people were battle tested, because in that time period, the Ethiopians already had, the Abyssinians, along with Midrabahari, that's Eritrean Ethiopians, folks, had in that entire 1880s been engaged in wars with the Egyptians and then against the Sudanese. So a lot of these people were willing to die for their own cause.
that was back in the day. I don't know what these new breed Africans about.
Shout out to LAPD Squad. Big Ups Commander / General Eisenhower was expected to have on D-Day up to 70% Allied losses expected. Damn.
I mean, if you look at the transporters they had, the way they were open at the front, they were right. They were,
They were right at machine gun fire.
Right. You open up, and they were sitting ducks in there in their transporters, as well as in the water and on the beachheads. The Germans were ready. But they were kind of stretched out too thin, however, on that French coastline. They didn't know when they were They had bunkers and everything. They didn't know when they'd be coming, but they knew they were going to come. They didn't know where, so they had most of it covered. And let's not forget what happened at the Battle of the Bulge. No, not the Bulge. Where they got trapped in the hedges and shit. What's that area called in France?
You're talking about it's either the Bulge or Normandy.
No. After Normandy, they got trapped. They got stuck like inside of occupied France and like in the vineyards and such.
Yeah.
Because they were like it was like a maze and everything. I think that's the Bulge. Because that gave the Germans like ample time to like regroup, but apparently they were prepared for that because they weren't just rolling tanks in from Normandy. They were also dropping soldiers out of planes and whatnot, paratroopers and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But Eisenhower and everybody, man, that was tough. British and American forces, the French were waiting for them. Or how about this? How about when the Spanish-American War? The Americans were trying to make it to land. Of course, the place they were supposed to come to shore was a bad spot. Yeah. And they would have been ducks in the water, but you know what kept them out there? That kept them from being attacked by the Spanish?
What's that?
The Cubans. The Cuban revolutionaries knew these guys were coming this way. So what they did was they sent certain forces to engage the Spanish to draw them away. And so the Americans, who were pretty much sitting ducks out on the beach, on the Cuban coastline, and this was a jagged area they landed in, which showed how poor it was their poor intelligence they had. And so when the Cuban revolutionaries were able to draw the Spanish away from that area, they sent some contingents down there to escort them out of there. So by the time they were, and a lot of people forget, this is during the time of racism. So, yeah, because most of the Cuban revolutionaries were black.
Oh, yes. You got to think you had to take, well, number one, a lot of the soldiers were black who fought in that goddamn war.
The Cuban Revolution, yeah.
Yeah, because white people couldn't stand that heat. They still can't.
Ready for this Chinese war, this Chinese American war, Charles? You ready?
They're not going to war.
The Chinese are not that foolhardy, first of all.
First of all, the Chinese know they would lose if they go into a full-scale war.
I guess one of them 5-star generals, one of them quacks, military. So he was talking about.
Pookie, do you realize if they went to full war, you'd be drafted to go?
I ain't getting drafted. Shit. They have to initiate that draft. They're gonna have to make that shit happen.
Oh yeah, they're gonna make it happen because that's gonna be a large. There's gonna be a large-scale war.
Pookie, let me tell you something.
Touchy, y'all bull.
Picky, but Pookie, truth.
Yeah, what?
Your man's Ethiopian, right?
Yeah, he Ethiopian.
Yeah. Guys his age, your age, where I'm from, they've been drafted straight out of high school. And a lot of them are right now in a fucking war.
I mean, damn, the benefits that the military offer, man, I wouldn't want to fight for this country.
Well, let me back you up for a second, right? When I hear people say that shit, you don't want to fight for a country. What country would you fight for?
Shit, one that don't act like Babylon.
But do you take advantage of this country's benefits?
Yeah, but I also pay into them.
So in other words, you would rather be under very strict communist China rule, right?
Why it gotta be China? It could be.
No, 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 no. You're gonna answer the questions the way they're presented, right?
Okay.
Would you rather be under American, democracy, actually republic, or would you rather be under communist China rule?
Communist China rule with or without racism?
Oh, you think white racism is something you don't even put it to you this way?
Chinese is worse.
Chinese is worse, and number two, you got to think about it. Are you going through the racism that my grandparents went through?
My grandparents too, and
Your great grandparents.
Are you?
my grandparents too, bruh. Grandparents not that young.
Wait a minute. Wait. What generation are your parents?
You gotta understand something. Let's back up for a second. Your grandparents are barely is the same age as my parents.
How old are your parents?
My parents are in their mid-60s.
Well, around there, but a little bit older. A little bit older.
They'll be 64 and 66. So
All right.
you're really talking about because a lot of you new cats, your grandparents are young as shit. Like your grandparents are actually closer to my age. Some of y'all. Like, you gotta realize you're not going through Jim Crow South racism. Yeah, there's specks of dirt here and there, but y'all not going through that bullshit. But
You think that's bad? You think that's bad?
Franchise means a little bit more than a speck of dirt, but I understand what you're saying.
let me put it to you this way: what major racism do black people really go through right now? That's overt. That's
okay, well, I got you. We've been in this country for 10, 12 generations, and we're economically the most disenfranchised.
Let me ask you this question one more time because we asked questions.
That's racism.
In other words, what overt racism have the last 2 generations went through?
That's overt. That's overt. That's obvious.
What is overt?
That the fact that we have been in this country long.
That's the definition of overt.
Obvious, out front, blatant, right?
Do we have out front blatant racism today?
Yes.
Where?
It's out front and blatant in the fact that we've been in this country. I'm about to say it. Can I finish?
Where do we have it?
In the history books, the fact that our history is not overtly recorded.
This is the reason why you're listening to reply, not to comprehend. In the last 2 generations, where do we have overt racism?
Okay, does overt racism have to pertain to specific violence, or can it pertain to things that are non-violent? It just has to be upfront and blatant, right? It doesn't have to be violent.
Where do we have it?
In the history books, I can give you an example.
In the last 2 generations.
Okay, CRT.
No, that's not
the fact that our history and the amount of years we've been in this country, which is in the last few generations, actually in the last generation, this current generation, our history is so disputed, even though we've been so long-standing.
You don't go through overt racism, man. Stop it.
That's not okay. What's that? Covert? Is that not obvious?
Once again,
okay.
Are you any white girls you slept with?
Not that many.
Has anybody tried to lynch you for it?
Nah. That's violence. That's violent racism.
That's overt racism.
Overt racism, it can be violent, but it doesn't have to be violent. Rosa Parks getting thrown off the bus because she's black and wants to sit in the front is overt racism.
Is Rosa Parks part of the last 2 generations?
No, she's not. But that was I'm giving you an example of overt violence that isn't violent.
In other words, you're trying to make an argument against the question. Y'all not going through overt racism. So
just asking if it has to be violent or not. That's it.
I
He's
don't
looking for parameters, but here, let me try to help him out. Maybe
you don't go through overt racism, man.
I don't go through
me?
violence.
I'm talking to him. I'm talking to him.
I
He doesn't go through overt racism. And here's the problem. Overt racism means it would be rare. It wouldn't be frowned upon to not serve black people in a certain capacity, such as sales and all kinds of shit. It would be okay to say the words as a white person, nigga go home, out in the open, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a form of it. That's a form we don't experience today.
That's,
But what about
how many times do you hear
modern-day
white, how many times do you hear white people just openly going to a black neighborhood in a lynch mob and stringing a nigga up in the last 2 generations?
that's violent racism?
No, that's overt.
It's overt, but it's a type of overt.
It's overt. In other words, how many of those people can go into somebody's home, pull them out of their bed, and lynch them?
none.
And they get charged.
But a white person this day and age will call you a nigga to your face, Charles. I don't know where you got that. He would call you,
Not even close. Not
maybe
even
not
close.
to your face, but a black person face, yes. I
Not
would
even
call.
because guess what? Even when they call nigga, what's the first thing they're gonna say? They're gonna do after they call you a nigga?
Run.
They're
Nah.
either gonna run or they're gonna ball up because they know that you're gonna hit them.
I don't know what you're talking about. White people say nigga all the time in music videos at school. So many times.
See, this is the reason why I want you to stop.
Am I
I
tripping?
want you to stop. I want you to stop.
Pookie,
Commander, what's your take on the Alpha Team and Special Forces? Do you consider them operational tier 1? What's your thoughts? Well,
wait a minute. Have you ever, wait, hold on a second, Charles. LAPD SWAT, I just want to ask you a question. Have you ever seen the show Deadliest Warriors?
I'm actually Facebook friends with the dude.
Oh, okay. But has he ever watched it? Has he ever watched, Deadliest Warriors? Because they had an episode about that.
I'm actually friends with the Russian guy who's former Spetsnaz.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny. Spetsnaz is like, think of special forces. You have tier 2, tier 1. Delta Forces, tier 1. So if any of you don't know what the tiers are, tier 3 is like conventional army. Tier 2 is like special operations like Rangers, Navy SEALs, Green Berets, Marine Recons. Tier 1 is like your Dev Group, SEAL Team 6, Delta Force.
Those guys are nuts. Army Rangers.
Yeah, they'll fuck up shit. I mean,
Shout out to Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. So I think Spetsnaz is the tier 1. I think they have a level of tier 1 about them because I know there's different levels for them as well. So they have a great capability. That's why, if you think about it, if Putin really wanted to go and annihilate Ukraine, they would just send the Spetsnaz and the death choppers out and just annihilate people. But that's not the purpose of what he's doing. And what's up, Jesse?
Hey, what's up, Jesse?
Hey, Jesse.
Jesse! No, you got to do it like Martin Lawrence. Oh, by the way, I just realized something, Charles. When you were talking about earlier about... What's up? Oh, what's good? Hold on, Jesse, for just a moment. You know when you talk about women can't clean, can't cook, and such, Charles?
Mm-hmm.
I just realized something. Does anybody remember the show Martin?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? Does anybody remember what the running gag was about Tisha Campbell, Tichina Arnold's characters in that show?
Couldn't cook or clean.
They couldn't cook or clean, especially Gina. The running gag was she couldn't clean, she couldn't cook worth a damn.
She couldn't cook or clean, and The fucked up part about it is, but guess what? She had a degree and she was in corporate America.
Both of them were.
And think about
Because
it.
remember, they were
And,
co-workers. They worked together and everything.
yep. And here's the fucked up thing. They were both at times insufferable.
Oh, especially Martin and Gina. No, not Gina. Pam.
They were very insufferable.
Very
And,
insufferable.
and it's bred into the culture. Like, you think about it. We build women to be men. They want to
Modern
be
day Babylon.
Overtly masculine. Oh, by the way, Pookie, do you understand what the meaning of overt is?
Yeah. Upfront, blunt. Doesn't have to be necessarily violent.
Out in the open?
Yeah, out in the open.
out in the
Doesn't
open,
have to be
baby.
violent though.
You don't have out in the open racism, man.
I've dealt with that recently, about a few months ago, actually.
Covert.
Overt.
It's in the background.
Yeah, most
No,
of the racism in the U.S. now is more covert as opposed to overt, right? So it's like little stuff like being a manager for several businesses. You'll see certain things like how other managers may treat like black employees, or let's say something I noticed like white managers, they'll give a white employee a lot more room. You know what I mean? Like, and what I mean by that is like, okay, a black employee, you got like 2 or 3 times to fuck up. But, a white employee, you may have like 10 times before you fuck up. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Just little shit like that. Even when you look at a lot of, let's say, I'm from New Orleans, which is a majority African-American black city, right? So if you look at a lot of the businesses around New Orleans, right? Most of the managers for a lot of those businesses are white, if you pay attention. So little stuff like that, like you can't really prove like, oh well, they just hiring all white managers and blah 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 blah. I mean, you can't. It'd be hard to prove that, but it's something that instinctively. Like, okay, you mean to tell me in a city that's more than 6% black that you can't find any black managers for this business?
Mm-hmm.
So it's stuff like that. But are you gonna have the stuff like back in the day? I mean, a lot of people don't realize how fucked up the racism was back in the Jim Crow times until you really have to read about this shit. I mean, literally, and I talked to BGS about this one time. We literally had motherfuckers, that would come to your house and land and threaten to kill you unless you sign your land over to them. White guys. They will come and burn down your fucking house. Shit like that. They will come and whip your ass.
They'll whip your ass.
They'll-
They'll sexually assault your wife, and then she ends up pregnant and have a red-haired child that does not look like you or the rest of the family, little green-eyed child. So you got to realize something. No offense to you, Pookie, but I do have to talk about your generation. Y'all generations are weak, and it's because a lot of you are raised by women. You have no masculine essence, or nobody teaching masculinity in the clear view.
Damn,
So
the whole kind of black community kind of weak. I mean, because we all kind of raised by women in a sense. Got this whole family.
no. Let me explain. Remember when we just talked about how masculine the women are?
They're called their mammies.
Not
That's
even mammies. It's the fact that they're masculine because they think that they shouldn't have to cook or clean. I had to tell my ex, look, what good are you if you don't? Like, I could do it my goddamn self. What role are you going to play? Well, we should share. No, we should not. No, we should not share.
Nope. I mean,
So the biggest thing about that, Charles, is in addition to all the shit that that racist whites were allowed to do during those days, is that the authorities would not even investigate those type of incidents.
Nope.
And so one of the biggest things with civil
Sweep
rights
it under the
is
rug.
one of the biggest things with
What's
civil
under the rug?
rights is that they made it and they passed laws where it's like, this type of shit had to be investigated, even if the local authorities didn't investigate it. They made it to a point where the shit, I forgot. Basically, the Justice Department or the FBI, federal agencies would come down and investigate. Because remember, especially in the South, a lot of these police departments and stuff were like majority white, and so they could choose
Overwhelming majority.
to turn a blind eye to that type of shit.
Yeah. No, overwhelmingly majority, not only white, but card-carrying members of the Klan.
Does anybody remember Mississippi burning? No. A Time to Kill. And Mississippi burnt, or was it Mississippi Crime?
What?
It was. You remember with that movie?
You talking about the church bombings? What are you talking about?
No. That was that movie. Alec Baldwin, Whoopi Goldberg. It was about Medgar Evers' killer being finally brought to justice.
Oh yeah, and they killed that man in his driveway. That was fool.
Yeah, that was Medgar Evers, the civil rights leader, Medgar Evers, and Whoopi Goldberg played his widow. James Wood played the killer.
Yep.
That whole history is about.
So the point that I said that is that y'all don't have overt racism.
Not
really,
like that.
Really never had it.
Unless you've been pulled over by the cops or some shit, or you've been shot down like in the past decade.
You know,
and if you counted pulled over, then I mean that counts.
Being pulled over,
DWB,
and being pulled over is.
He said it. Not me.
Motherfuckers.
I said it.
Motherfuckers rarely get pulled over, and I hate to say this, but a lot of niggas actually put themselves in a fucking stupid predicament. Like, you're literally smoking weed out the fucking car in the driver's side window.
With a collar shirt on.
You literally put yourself on a fucking island to get fucked with. And I hate to say it, but black people have a fucking.
I mean, I was standing at the bus stop, Charles,
driving with expired tags, driving without a valid license.
What about standing at the bus stop with a collar shirt on? What about that?
That's a little different.
Right. We're
talking about like people putting themselves out there to be fucked with by the police.
I was still fucked with. Apparently, I was putting myself out there, standing at the bus stop, coming from my internship. I was getting fucked with.
And what did he do?
He said I robbed a bank. He said I look like the subject. He said I look like the suspect. I couldn't believe it. I can't make this shit up. So
exercise. You should. If he asks you a question, say, "I exercise my right to remain silent."
Yeah, I'm not gonna say all that because he was that was gonna be a problem. I just said, no, sir, I didn't rob the bank. I don't know what you're talking about. You have a nice day. I'm not gonna say that.
And did he leave, or did he just put you in cuffs and beat the shit out of you?
Well, he looked like he wanted to beat the shit out of me, but he rolled off.
No, it's not a look like.
He didn't pull me over. I was detained. I mean, what you want me to do?
Were you in handcuffs?
I wasn't in handcuffs, but I couldn't leave.
Were you in handcuffs?
I wasn't in handcuffs, but I couldn't leave.
No. A simple yes or no. A simple yes or no.
Yeah, no.
So were the shit beat out of you?
Okay, so that it gotta get beaten too. I was just
yes or no.
Come on, man. You try to finagle.
You're talking to a cop. Wait, hold on, Truth. Excuse me, Charles. Truth, you're talking to a cop. Yes or no? A simple yes or no.
Sir, thank you.
You're trying to finagle the system differently, so you did not go through. You went through. Guess what? If I could look back, let me explain this for people.
Okay.
I had to pull and stop at gunpoint a friend of mine from school, a dude I knew in school, because his clothing matched the description that came out. When I recognized him, I was like, "Oh,
Collar, shirt, and khaki. Okay.
hey, guess what? Yeah, you had a police lieutenant, Rob Banks." Okay, and the
What the hell
motherfucker.
does that have to do with me and my internship?
But
And
hey, that one incident. Let me put it to you this way, because you're trying to compare that to.
no, I'm not. I'm just you. He's the one that made the damn exclusion. I'm the one that's building on it. Realize
Yeah, you're gonna have some people who do asshole moves, but that's not overt racism. That's not anything close to the antebellum South. Okay,
I didn't say that. So I'm saying.
a lot of like nowadays motherfuckers need safe spaces. Like, what the fuck is all that? I need a safe space.
You have sanctuaries. There are places, the term safe space got bastardized. That's what I'm going to tell you. Now, there used to be places like, where a safe place for people to be, where they can congregate and everything like that. But, the whole thing has just been like bastardized and been taken out of context.
That whole safe space term really came from the LGBT community for the most part. Then
Mm-hmm.
with black males, we just looking for a space where we can communicate and not get harassed by.
A place where we can all congregate. It's a sanctuary is what we need. That's what the safe space actually means.
Not like some buzzword or something. Another thing is therapy and therapy and talking and all those terms have become buzzwords. It's really not something
That's because
Don't forget rehab.
That's because you have a lot of people who, one, can't deal with fucking difficult times, and that's the funniest thing about your generation and the fourth one below it. They can't deal with difficulties for shit.
well, damn. Say how you feel it.
They really can't.
All right. Well, we'll see. Because we're still a lot younger than y'all, so you could
By the
end up in 20 years eating your words. You just don't.
realize something. What major war are you fighting?
Okay. Major war.
What major war you're fighting?
We went through a pandemic with a disease.
That's not a war.
Are you fighting?
We're not in a war, Charles. Not.
Exactly.
I don't need to talk.
Exactly.
There hasn't really been a major war since World War II, for real. I mean, besides Vietnam. But I mean, honest, Vietnam was and Korea was kind of like small incursions compared to World War II. To keep it above.
No, that would be Desert Storm in 1991.
Number one. By the time I was your age, we already had 2 wars going on.
I mean, you can kind of make the same argument for your predecessors, man. They could say that you guys.
So in other words, there's certain shit that my father never had to deal with in Vietnam that I had to deal with in Iraq.
Will he agree with that?
Yes.
Okay.
There's certain shit I didn't have to deal with his war that we didn't have to deal with Iraq. He didn't have
We have to deal with the pandemic that we had to deal with in the pandemic. Having entities
y'all really didn't have to deal with the shit that you like. It's so sad that look, some of y'all, a lot of motherfuckers are getting stimulus checks. Okay,
not me.
what the fucking check? What checks did we get when we had to crash? And like
none.
When we had to crash, a lot of you motherfuckers weren't even born when the housing fucking shit crashed. Either that or y'all were toddlers. So you got to think about it. Y'all not even going through a major. Here's the crazy part. A lot of people in your generation has the whole Black Lives Matter thing, but then get upset. And this is just the white part of your generation.
It really mostly is. But
But
okay.
they get upset when black people actually get positions they want it.
Oh, you talking about the white Z's or what are you talking about?
The
That's
white
what
Z's feeling entitled to certain things, like their
Why do
predecessors.
entitlement and social foo-foo comes from the more enfranchised member of my generation? Because I don't know
And
where y'all I think this privilege comes from. Black people are still broke at a
here's
majority rate.
here's the problem with white people, right?
Okay.
The average white person,
Yes,
not
sir.
all, but a lot of them.
Okay.
The problem is this: they grew up with the same mentality as the baby boomers and the silent and the great generation. The white picket fence, the wife, the 2.3 kids. Okay, the dog and the cat.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, in other words, what happens when that doesn't happen? Especially when you were told stories by your grandfather, your grandmother, your mother, your father.
They fucked the world up. So I mean, that's what it is.
No,
They don't realize that. Don't see it that way, though. That's your problem, Pookie.
That's too bad because we see it that way.
Yeah, see. That's the thing. You are part of a minority who's been held down. Not as much as Charles's generation or the generation before him. They now have to make a choice to integrate you guys into the society, just to keep it stable. Hell, Charles or not, from my generation, you started mixed race children became more accepted during our generation.
and that was rare. I mean, you got to think about it.
Oh, even rare were those born in the 70s.
Oh yeah, because you got to think if you were mixed, you were basically considered a child of two worlds and accepted neither. You weren't accepted in how they say how would they say, like, you weren't accepted in either race, okay?
And now you got people like Andrew Tate calling themselves black. But it's all good though.
Andrew is a loose cannon and out of his freaking mind and destructive. Bad example. Mixed race or otherwise, he came from a very dysfunctional home. He didn't know you know how far he grew up most of his life without his dad.
He wouldn't make it out the black community. He'd be beaten down. I promise.
He would have. He's close. He's actually around Mr. Z's age, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
He still wouldn't make it out the black community.
Oh, you
So
got to.
his black would beat him down in a matter of seconds.
How many people do you think challenges Andrew Tate to a fight?
What'd you say?
How many people you think would challenge Andrew Tate to a fight?
From the projects or just like out on YouTube or mainstream?
Stop the fucking Z shit. Answer the question the way it's presented.
Okay. I mean, it depends on it honestly depends on what environment you're talking about. But if you're talking about his world, then not a lot.
Stop. Hey, wait, hold on a second.
The internet, no,
Truth.
That's irritating because you're trying to finagle the question with more than what the fucking question presents.
Okay,
hold on. BJ, hold on. Excuse me, Charles, if I may. First of all, Pookie, you got two left feet. Quit trying to dance around it. Now, let me put it this way. How tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
You're 6'2".
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any martial arts training? Have you learned to box, wrestle, anything like that?
Boxing and Greco-Roman wrestling.
Okay. Could you challenge Andrew Tate to a fight?
Yes. I would sack the shit out of Andrew Tate.
Good luck.
Best of luck to you, because first of all.
Okay, all right.
No. Wait, Charles. Hear me out. Hold on. Let me.
Okay, right. He's just God, basically.
He's a kickboxer. He's got very limited. We don't know what his ground game is, however.
He's a 2-time fucking world champion, a 3-time world champion kickboxer.
ISKA.
What happens if he gets to the ground though, Charles? You the wrestling man. Shit, you don't think you can fold him up into a pretzel? You get him on
But
the
that's
ground?
if you can get him to the ground. Because remember, you're dealing with somebody who is a kickboxer, not a Thai fighter. First of all, kickboxing and Muay Thai are a little bit different. Hold on.
Let me
True,
put it
shut
to
up.
you.
True, hold on.
I'll put it to you this way, right?
Okay, man.
A lot of people have to get you to the ground. People think that it's an automatic thing. It's not an automatic thing. You're gonna get hit.
Yeah.
So you get kicked. You get kicked by that motherfucker, and he hits you in the fucking liver. Ain't no fucking grappling in the world gonna save you. Or if he hits you with a right hand faster than you can perceive, what the fuck you gonna do?
He ain't no boxer though. He's a kickboxer.
Are you out of your freaking? No, are you out of your mind?
He ain't no real boxer, man.
Kickboxers have lethal kickboxers have lethal knockout. Shut up and listen.
Okay. I done actually done real boxing, but okay.
Actually, Andrew Tate is my height. He's 6'3". He's technically about 185 pounds. He's a tall middleweight.
Okay.
He's a tall mid. He's tall and lanky.
So
okay, he's got a lot of range. He's got a range on you. Okay, he's got a reach on you. It's like he's probably gonna have a reach on you because this guy is like.
Whoa, hold on. For this is the first thing that Pookie, what's your wingspan?
My wingspan, I mean, it's got to be like.
No. If you don't know your wingspan, you don't know shit.
Yeah.
How do I not know shit, bro? We probably have the same
because wingspan.
We have the same build. We have the same
No, you
build.
don't. No, you don't. Wingspan is important. Tell him, Charles.
I'm gonna tell you what.
My wingspan is longer than my height. What are you talking about?
No, it's not.
It is.
No, statement, please.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna say this, right? The reason why wingspan is important is because he can hit you before you can hit him. Why do you think John Jones was so successful at 205? Because he's really
84.5 inch.
Because he has.
Wingspan is taller than my height, sir. I'm looking at
it. In other words, he has damn near a 7-foot reach. He has the reach of somebody who's 7 feet tall.
Okay. My wingspan is taller than mine, bro.
You don't even know your wingspan. You.
I'm looking at my shit right now.
No, you don't. You don't know, man. And that's the. You know what? That's the fucking problem. That's the reason why I came out here. Stop acting like you a badass when you don't even know if you're a badass. You've never been in a kickboxing match. You don't. You know you. For God's fucking sakes, you know that you got into a kickboxing match, your ass have been folded.
And you talking about?
Have you ever kickboxed?
Hold on. Number one, how many world championships do you have?
World championships. You talking
how
about
many world championships in kickboxing do you have?
Kickboxers, 0.
How many does Tate have?
I don't know. I ain't worried about his championship.
You don't even have a
obviously more than one.
In other words,
I'm talking to Carl, brother. Thank you.
Hold on.
Talking to you too.
Here's the problem, right? You're not listening to comprehend. You're listening to make a reply. That gets irritating because now you're making statements that doesn't make any goddamn sense. There's a reason why people do not go in the street challenging Tate to a fight. Same thing with Kevin Samuels.
Average man.
It's the same thing with Kevin Samuels. Okay. Remember all these people were saying, "Yo, when I beat up with Kevin, I'm gonna whoop his ass." There's a reason why none of them tried to fight him.
Kevin is 6'5". Was 6'5", first of all.
And he was over 200 pounds.
Black belt and
So martial arts. He carried himself a certain way to let you know don't mess with him.
In
So
reality, you got to be very careful how to use your martial arts in the street also too, even if it's self-defense.
and see, here's the problem with a lot of people, right? A
Mhm.
lot of people online were talking shit to other people online till they met with them. Okay. There was a certain troll that I said, I will come to your fucking address and we can have it out. But, there's a certain reason why when people be, it takes out in the streets a lot. Maybe especially before, this whole raid fiasco, he was out in the streets everywhere. Okay. Motherfuckers didn't challenge him to a fight. He's very skilled. Especially I forget the kickbox. What is it, the ISK?
ISKA. That's one of the internet. That's one of the whatchamacallit. The other big one is K1. He's never was in K1. He was never in K1.
No, he wasn't K1, but that's one of the big ones because the ISKA that shit goes on for years. A lot of your K1 guys started there with the K1 because that's when K1 was starting to pay some money.
Oh, yeah.
So if you can compete with those guys, you can fight.
Yeah. By the way, Charles, he fought at light cruiserweight and light heavyweight.
So he's not a small man.
No, 6'3". He. Would you knock it off and let me finish? Because it says here he was competing at 205, 6'3", 205 pounds.
So he walked around 220.
Well, that's if he was cutting weight, but some of these guys they weren't cutting weight. Yeah, but it was confusing. What's confusing here is like I'm looking at ShareDog.com. It says here in MMA he's 6'1" and weighs 198. And the last time he fought in MMA in mixed martial arts was in June. It was June 6, 2010. His last kickboxing competition, according to what says on Wikipedia, it's compiled is it was in Romania, and that was December 16, 2020.
This is so if he's 6'1", his wingspan ain't all that.
The thing about it is that when you look at Thailand and their fighters, they have to literally kick down fucking trees.
Banana trees.
They literally have to fucking kick down fucking trees.
When did we start?
And when was the last time you kicked down a fucking tree?
He's not Thailand and they fighters.
But he was in that realm.
True.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. He was in that realm fighting these guys.
True.
He was a champion.
Who's trying to get in? Is it James?
It's me, brother. It's me.
Jeez,
okay.
Damn.
So, Brother Truth, this is a very disturbing conversation, but I'll speak my mind. I'm only speaking from my personal experience, right? So, I've did martial arts for a very long time. I've sparred against guys from all across the country and even the world, because the school I was attending to was a big international school, and we used to have students from South Africa, Brazil, Israel, Iran, Portugal, some hardcore places, right? And
which martial arts in particular?
So I did kung fu, but it was a mixture of YMA. It's a practitioner called Dr. Yang. He has at the time he had 70 schools around the world. So we used to travel internationally, and we would spar against all guys from all parts of the world, right? So when you go against guys who come from third world countries who have nothing to lose, where violence is at the extreme, right? Where it's pretty much especially I remember we used to spar against the South African guys, and there was a racial element, right? Because at the time I was probably one of the there was several black brothers at the school. There was a brother named Mitch who was a defensive end for University of Tennessee, and he was about 6'5" at 250.
What was the wingspan?
Mitch had at least a 70-inch wingspan.
A 70?
70-inch wingspan. He was a defensive end.
That's pretty short, right?
No, 70 is pretty. 70 is pretty long.
You could
wait.
stuff.
At 6'5"?
I mean, he probably had even longer than that.
Yeah, it had to be longer than that. It had to be longer than 70 because
like 77.
Yeah, 77. I'll give him 70. Yeah, Mitch, because he had big hands. Mitch.
Okay.
So long story short was, I remember the first time me and Mitch were sparring, and a lot of guys were kind of intimidated. But you don't see someone's power until they, especially guys on that level. And let me tell you, when I got hit by Mitch at we was at like 260, 270 with raw power, because we were going full speed, man. And let me tell you something. Wow. When you get hit by a man on that massive scale, and Charles can attest to this, there's certain people in this world, they have ungodly strength.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to the late Anthony Rumble Johnson.
Yeah, like there's some people in this world, man, and I'm gonna tell you, people, it's just ungodly. You don't know where this strength comes from. When you get hit by somebody with that much power, and fortunate for me, I had a chin, right? I was very fortunate. But I can only imagine if he went all out uncontrollably. And this is what this panel is trying to tell you. Do not go by your theoreticals until you actually get rocked by someone who is twice your size. And even some men, you don't even have to get rocked. You can just tell. Don't speak on it, brother. Because you're playing a very dangerous game.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Here's the problem. Earlier, Truth, you remember you said earlier you kind of got rid of the programming that you've been indoctrinated in?
Yeah.
What program was that?
Hold on, Mel, hold up. Yeah. I'm talking about the indoctrination, by the way, Mel, but well, it seems like you haven't got it out completely, and you will not get it out completely so long as you contain this hubris. Unfortunately, somebody's going to have to... Unfortunately,
you ain't no boxer.
Nigga, shut up and listen.
You're talking to people that have been in contact sports, and you're trying to tell they're wrong. That's how you know that your hubris.
Not the ones that have been in contact sports.
So Charles is wrong.
I've been rocked.
I want him to answer that. Charles is wrong? Charles Faulkner Jr.
Charles may not be definitively right. He don't know Andrew Tate. Neither do y'all. I don't know him neither, so I could be wrong.
True. This ain't even about we know him personally. There's certain things you can tell by a man's physique, by a man's ability. You don't want to take. You don't want to go. You don't want to take it to that level.
Or his psychological profile.
This is all we're saying on it. That there's a dude in the project. There's some dude in the hood that got the same physique. That got a harder mentality. That'll knock his ass.
The fuck you mentioned about the damn?
Hold on. Let me say this.
From underprivileged areas.
True. Hold on. Listen.
Okay, because I gotta say something after you.
Okay, so let me say this. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
If you saw Mike Tyson right at his prime,
he ain't Mike Tyson. Don't even.
No. That's not the question. You ain't. This is now you doing what females do. Okay, you divert.
Go ahead.
I'm asking you a serious question right now. Okay. If you saw Mike Tyson at his prime, you knew who Mike Tyson was, but you see him physically.
Yes.
Would you not be intimidated?
Yes, he is not Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson.
That's not what I'm asking you. No. That's not about what he.
I said yes.
Okay, so why would you hold on? Why would you be intimidated?
Because he's over probably twice, if not almost like damn near double my weight. Probably his frame is built, stacked more with musculature that Andrew Tate that doesn't have.
Hold on. So let me hold on.
Okay.
That's the problem. Hold on, right?
Let him finish. Let him get this bullshit out.
So now you just gave me a psychological profile, and Mike Tyson's only 5'9", but the fact that you said that, Okay, we give him 5'10" or 1 inch. Okay, but the fact that you gave me a psychological profile why you would not fuck with him. Why is it so hard for you to listen to grown men telling you are not going to We give you a psychological profile of Andrew Tate. There's enough footage of him whipping niggas' asses.
The point is, that wasn't even the original question. The original question was
no. It's not
somebody in the world.
Deflecting, man.
Stop, bro. Pookie, you doing something again. That's why I said stop doing the female stuff.
For a minute.
It is quite clear. It's quite clear. Okay. It is quite clear to me.
It's not really clear.
I don't know if it's
emphasizing and re-emphasizing.
No, Pookie.
Wonder Woman.
My phone just died.
I'm just talking.
Comparing,
this is what you're doing. You're comparing a heavyweight champion, someone who's fought on a major level, been through harder trials, to an internet.
Andrew Tate. Oh my God! You can tell this guy has not even looked at fucking K1 or anything like that.
I don't pay attention to worldly niggas like that.
No, he's not a worldly. Oh my God.
He is.
Wow.
How the fuck he's a worldly nigga, man? What the fuck is you talking about?
Yeah,
this the fucking problem, man. Damn, man.
Hold on.
Fucking young clowns right here, man. What the fuck?
He is a kickboxing champion. How does
man? But he's not a major. He's a major belt champion in kickboxing. Is he in the UFC?
True. Stop talking. God damn. Can I get my words out? I'm going to say this, right? Because if you're from Baltimore, there's a boxing gym on Eastern Noble that myself and my nephew starred in. We got our shit rocked, and we rock people, okay? I'm going to say this. Why do I know this? I've hit a guy so hard, I loosened his permanence. He had to go back to the States to get him tightened up.
His what?
You're not a champion. So I mean that's crazy. You're just a regular police officer.
Shut up.
Stop, man.
Fuck up. Listen to what I'm saying. He had permanent fucking gold fronts in his mouth, and I loosened them with a punch.
Ooh. Always wear your mouthpiece.
With a mouthpiece on.
Oh. That happens in the gym. You get your fronts knocked out.
Permanent fronts that are not supposed to move.
You getting punched in the mouth with some power, them shit to move.
So in other words,
knocked out.
stop talking and listen. God damn.
You're not even.
He doesn't want to listen. Wait. He doesn't want to listen.
Exactly.
No, you're not.
He made his decision. So
Let me
you know
put it
what?
to you this way.
We're gonna look for Andrew Tate, put you against him, watch him fuck your ass up and shit like that for real. And we don't make money behind that shit.
I'm not trying to
hear you come back here trying. Come on, you beat his ass.
No.
You know what? I will put him with a rookie.
You're not gonna put me with nobody.
I'll put you with a rookie kickboxer, and you still wouldn't beat his ass.
I'm not a kickboxer, so you wouldn't put me with nobody.
I'll put you with a rookie boxer, and you ain't gonna beat his ass.
I've been in there with rookie boxing.
No, you haven't.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
How you doubt it when I was in the gym? You don't know. Fuck you talking about?
You do know, because that's how you act. Oh my God.
Mel, who are you?
Shut the fuck up! I'll knock your ass out.
Hold on. I'm gonna say this, okay? I'm gonna say this. Right? Stop talking. God damn. Number one, I've had my tooth chipped. One of my molars chipped by a guy who threw the nastiest right hook into my face. Okay? I have physical injuries from when I sparred. The tooth actually had to be removed. I've actually knocked the guy's tooth out of his fucking mouth. Okay? I'm a wrestler. I've actually thrown a guy and broke his arm. I'm about as combat sport as you can fucking get. If there's somebody who's qualified to judge who can kick some ass, I'm one of those people, because those are the culture that I came up in. You feel me? Number one, you go against Tate, even just the skill level. But he was showing when a guy throws a jab, he said you don't block it or you don't do this because the right hand, you don't drop your hand and push it down because you're susceptible to a right hand. That takes a man with skill to know that.
Yeah.
There's a reason why certain people don't get challenged to fights. Okay? Tyson's is not the biggest heavyweight champion of all time. In fact, he's actually one of the smallest or shortest.
Yeah.
Not one motherfucker in his 50s, late 50s, will take a punch from that man willingly. Okay? There's a certain demeanor. There's a reason why Andrew Tate can literally walk across and say the shit he can say. There's a reason why certain men can say what the fuck they can say. Especially in red pill spaces and not get challenged. There's some people who say, yo, it's a fault. Now I come down, I'm a 6'4" gorilla. Okay? You do know, and I had to warn this guy, you do know the only time I've been in fights outside of being sanctioned were with guys bigger than me and fucking multiple people. And when people actually stand up, and I'm only 5'10", people come to me and they see me, yo, this nigga a lot bigger than he look. And even when people and coworkers and roll calls, yo, I probably could box you, probably too slow. And I flick 3 jabs in his fucking nose, barely touching it. And they like, hell no.
You an unordinary nigga.
What the fuck you think I'm telling you? Listen, Pookie. What the fuck you think I'm telling you about Tate?
So you think Officer Charles, let's put you in the ring. You think Tate pulling your number? He got you? He breaking you down?
He's not gonna be as good as a wrestler as I am.
He's gonna beat the shit out of you, basically.
I'm gonna put it. Can you stop talking so I can answer your fucking question? You like my homegirl should know. You're getting to the fucking point where you're becoming insufferable.
Just answer the question.
Stop the fucking
man.
talking.
Damn.
This is the reason why. This is the reason why This is the reason why a lot of people never let you on their panels, because there's some maturity that needs to be. You're talking to men. A good part of this fucking panel of men are over 40.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're humoring you because you're young and we want better for you. But first of all, when you sit at the fucking feet of elders, the mouths of babes sometimes need to be shut. Okay? I'm gonna answer your question. Cool. If I went against Tate, number one, I'm gonna be overwhelmingly the better wrestler.
Cool.
Me. Are you gonna interrupt me or are you gonna let me answer the question?
Yes or no?
Are you gonna interrupt?
Come on, man. Stop
I
that
think he's
shit.
drunk and high, man. For real.
No, he's impulsive.
He's young.
He's impulsive.
He's young.
Okay, Pookie. I'm gonna tell you this. If you interrupt me one time, I'm gonna drop you, man.
Not answering my question.
I'm gonna answer your question because I have no problem answering it. Number one, I'm an international level wrestler. I have a bronze medal internationally. Okay? I am going to be significantly the better wrestler. Tate is going to have an advantage in striking because he's longer and lankier. Why? Because in kickboxing, guess what you could do that you can't do in boxing? Kick. Your legs are about, for some people, 2 to 2.5 times longer and 4 times stronger. So you get kicked in the fucking ribs or in the floaters, you get kicked in the liver or the kidneys, that's going to stop you in your fucking tracks. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how much of a badass you are. I've actually hit a guy with body shots.
Or the back of the knee.
First time we sparred in boxing. He fucked me up, bloodied my nose, split my lip. I learned from that. Second time we sparred, he doesn't like body shots too well. So he threw that wild overhand right. I blocked with my elbow. and hit him with one right hand straight down the pipe. I hit him so hard he bounced off the ropes. I ducked him, hit him with 2 body shots. Don't. He dropped. Like he literally dropped and popped back up. And I just kept wailing on him for 2 fucking minutes and kept hitting his body, head, body. I made him piss blood for 15 minutes.
Charles, I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
Charles, so under the statutory laws, right? If which is considered more of a deadly weapon? Striking with the hand or kicking?
Well, most people die from fists anyway, so that's that's why I always laugh when they talk about banning guns, because most people die from kicks and punches because really, if you think about it, a kick is going to deliver more power, way more power than a punch.
Exactly, right?
If you got a guy who can kick, that's some deadly shit.
Right.
That's some deadly shit.
So this is what as Charles was saying, when it comes to these kickboxers, and again, obviously, as Charles said, most of the men on this panel are 40 or close to 40. If you've seen enough fights, especially if you go to some of these events and you see the amount of power some of these guys generate from just one strike, or, I mean, you can just go on YouTube and look at some of these famous fighters, right? There's no way in hell an average man would step in the ring with that motherfucker, especially in an environment where he's like they say, fighting is one thing, but to love fighting, that's a whole different person. That's a whole different personality.
Oh,
That's
James?
even, yes.
I can give you several examples. I mean, if you watch some.
Hold on,
oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying, and this is what I'm trying to say to you, Pookie. It's one thing to fight, but when you got motherfuckers who have the taste of blood, they love that shit. That is a whole different psychological person. It's just like Mike Tyson, right? Mike Tyson, to me, if he didn't have that psychological mindset, like many of those fighters back in the day, he would not be who he is. That's what makes people like Charles, Andrew Tate, or those on that level, because when you start to get the taste for it, right? It's either like I was just listening to something in regards to on Vlad TV with that brother Irving, the sniper, and he said you got a lot of guys who train, and Charles can attest to this, train to the top tier levels, but when the light switch goes off, there are some men who rise to the occasion, and then many men that just crumble in the occasion. And this is where you have to be very careful what you say. Because again, I don't know your experience level, but I can tell you, your era compared to me and Charles' era and some of the many men on this panel, it's 2 different animals, man. We had this discussion, I think, a while back when if World War III popped off, your generation ain't doing shit, man.
Nigga, fuck World War III. What the hell did that have to do?
You just proven his point.
What does
attitude?
This thing got nothing to do with Andrew Tate, man.
It doesn't matter. The whole point is your generation ain't gonna do shit.
It's exactly
Period.
Excuse me, James.
What it is.
What's your fighting experience, man?
What it is the mentality of the people. Like I remember seeing this documentary about World War II, and I remember seeing this guy, and he was this older white guy, and he was going through his experiences being a sniper in the United States Army during Vietnam. And it was just him and this one other Vietnam sniper. And they went through a whole entire month going through that jungle. Challenge each other with trying to snipe each other. There was even at one point where they were even right next to each other. They ran away from each other. And the only reason why he got off his shot to kill that dude because he saw the sparkle in the other guy's lens. And because the guy fucked up. And how he talked about it, like it was a game to him. That's how they thought. That's how he thought about fucking war. About his fucking, it's a fucking game. And I won that shit, and I got that motherfucker.
Let me answer you. Go ahead, brother.
I mean, that shit is so primal, so that bloodlust, that it's so very few people to have that.
Yes,
especially in combat sports, to what a point where you hit somebody with your fucking best right fucking hook, and he looks at you, licks his lips, and said, "I like that shit, motherfucker. I like that."
Charles is the one that brought up his hands.
No. I'm telling you, when you you fight someone's mentality, when you hit him with your best right hook, and he looks at you, licks his lips, licks the blood off his fucking face, and says, "I like that shit, motherfucker. Hit me again like that," and you're gonna be like, "Oh shit, this motherfucker real." Like that's a different fucking mentality, man.
Poogie, let me answer your question. You said my fight.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'll answer Poogie's question. I've been fighting since I was a kid, man, and I can tell you, coming from a family from the West Indian Islands, I've seen more bloodshed, violence, especially coming from Haiti. And that's a different mentality for me, right? So seeing death at a very young age, doesn't disturb me, and this is why I think, again, my social economic experience is different from yours. So when you talk as if you've seen certain things up front and personal, seen a man like burn to death and cry for his life, as if that's the environment you grew in, I beg to differ. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things I hope you understand.
And listen.
I hope you understand before you start making judgments or posing drastic questions on people's personal experiences, man. Understand your generation is nothing compared to no, I'm just keeping 100 with you, fam. You guys, put it this way, I grew up in a generation where everybody was strapped, legally, illegally. You got robs, run up, sneakers, all it's sad, right? But the fact that, like I said, if World War III popped off, you just answered my own motherfucking question. You said, fuck it. The fact that you live in this country and shit's about to pop off, I mean, that's the first thing you're going to say is, fuck it?
I'm not fighting for this country. That's what my thing.
But you...
It's not happening.
You know what? You'd be the first to die.
Don't kick the chair. Let James finish.
So basically, you work in the... You were born American citizen.
Yes.
You pay taxes. Hold on. You pay taxes.
Yes.
So let's say unjustifiably, let's say the United States says we're not engaging in any type of war, and all of a sudden, motherfuckers from China say, "Yo, fuck that. We're gonna do what the Japanese did." So you mean you gonna roll over?
Y'all niggas is gonna figure it out. Fuck that. Yeah. Military disorganized, disenfranchised.
First of all, I just gave you hold on. I just specified to you that the United States is.
That's cool. Yep. It's all good.
So that means hold on. So that means that's no different if I ran up on you right now in your house. You don't know me.
Different. How's
different?
Because we ain't fighting. That's an independent encounter versus a collective basis. I'm not fighting for my overseers and people that can't enfranchise me in regular times, but they want to enfranchise me to die for them.
So hold on. So hold on. Let me get this. Hold on. So what's the difference between? Hold on. What's the difference between a domestic terrorist and an international terrorist? If I'm impeding, what the fuck are you gonna do?
I mean, what level are we talking about domestic terrorism?
This is Charles. I'll let you continue.
He's getting into semantics, James. In fact, you want.
You know what the word term domestic means?
Hold on a second. Pookie,
okay. All right.
Pookie, back up for a minute. Back up.
That's what females do.
Charles, blow up can you please blow up my avatar? You see what this is? Would anybody like to know what this is?
Go ahead, brother.
Go ahead. You talked about them.
Like I've said many times, I am Eritrean. This was back in the 70s and 80s. And these are all women. This is my mother's and father's generation. These are boomers you're looking at. When it was time, and many of them chose to leave home because they had something to fight for, alongside the men. And that was independence for their own country.
Country got independence. What the fuck you fighting
Shut
for?
the fuck up and listen.
I'm being preached to.
Shut up! Shut up!
All right, Pastor.
Shut it! Shut it! Shut the fuck up! All right, shut up! And listen, you've been talking too much. You've been talking too much. You've been talking too much.
Get it out.
And right now, you just then shut.
Pookie, I'm gonna say this. Stop and listen. You come to these.
You've been talking to.
Looking for older men's advice and wisdom, but the problem with your generation is you don't like what you hear because it's the goddamn harshest truth. You challenge. See, this is what y'all do. You go off of perception, then reality. And here's the criteria of it. Many of people think that they could take me into a fight because I'm so laid back and cavalier. Until they actually see me fight, it's scary. They're like, you know what? I'm not challenging this dude and shit. And a lot of times, what people in your generation make is a mistake. Because guess who I had to deal with as a law enforcement officer? People in your generation.
Youngins.
And what happens? Every time something happens, when they try to fight me, and I'm bludgeoning them with my fist, or my elbows, or my knees, they're crying for their mothers. When I put them in a fucking heel hook or ankle lock, and the pain is excruciating, and the motherfucker like, please, no, I just broke the ankle. This is the ankle I've broken. You know what I told him, Colby? This is going to be the ankle that you break once again. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
See, a lot of y'all need a lesson in respect. And see, you couldn't come to my wrestling room. You couldn't come to my boxing gym or my MMA gym. You know why? Because the first goddamn thing you would do was insult the teacher. The first goddamn thing you would do is insult the fighters. And they would embarrass you. They would make you never come back to that motherfucker ever again. You see, people don't understand this. My coach actually sent me against other wrestlers to punish them for disrespect. And I would hurt you. I would hurt you badly. And I would smile at you. And I don't smile. Okay? A lot of you motherfuckers come and disrespect the master and don't know that motherfucker could kill you any goddamn time he wants. And there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it. See, a lot of you never been in a combative situation against a person who is superior to you. Okay? Y'all go by physical appearance and not skill. If you really think you Billy Badass, go challenge that motherfucker. There's gems. What happened to that one motherfucker who challenged the Bronze Bomber?
Oh yeah, that white boy.
Yeah.
He ain't in my generation. Fuck that.
Yeah.
You see, right there's a problem right there.
He got shit to do with my generation.
No. Charles, for gentlemen. Charles. By the way, you can take me down, please. You can take that picture down. First of all, you can still mute up the boy, can't you, Charles?
Nah, let him talk, because right now, see, here's the problem, and I'm gonna really tell you why guys like Style TV says you need to come back when you get maturity. Mm-hmm. It's because it shows that you got a lot to learn, and your 20 is a lot different than my 20, because if you're in my generation, guess what the fuck you had to deal with? You had to deal with fucked up computers from Y2K, and you had to deal with the global war on terrorism. Okay? My generation had to fight 2 wars at the same goddamn time. Understand? Even BGS, when I had to tell him, look, say what you want about my generation, but we the motherfuckers that had to fight terrorism head on. Even his generation did not fight terrorism on the level we did.
That's fact.
You understand? And he would tell you that shit. They might have had Vietnam, but you talking about motherfuckers with suicide bombers?
Suicide bombers?
And I mean
IEDs?
IEDs? Yeah, you might have had some suicide bombers in Vietnam, But goddamn, Afghanistan and Iraq took the fucking hit. Do you know how
First
many of
time
my
you've had.
hold
First,
on? Do you
I'm sorry.
know how many of my fucking classmates I went to class with? I didn't even know was in Iraq with me until either we went to the phone booths or we were leaving. One of my homegirls who was a medic, she was in a DFAC, right? If you don't know what a DFAC is, it's a big lunchroom.
Mess halls?
Yeah, the mess hall. She said she sat down. Some guy came in there, and all she remembers is a white flash.
Oh.
Wow.
And all she remembered was a white flash. And because it's a tent, she was 25 yards away from where she sat. She came back too. What the fuck do you think? You gotta be bred different to like still want to be in this shit, okay? And when see, this is the shit that I can't stand. I can't stand a motherfucker who wants to take all the benefits of a country, but don't want to fight for it. And here's the craziness of it all, right? Not everybody's built for war, but I'm a Baltimorean, so I got to use Baltimorean terminology. So you're telling me, with your generation, y'all will allow a motherfucker to run your pockets?
Yep.
Already are running our pockets. Fucking minimum wage is shit. It ain't even this. The amount of the quality
that is your fault why you're making minimum wage.
I
It
know
ain't the
it ain't.
government's fault. It ain't the outside.
No. Fall back, Mel. No, fall back.
Woosah. Let me put it to you this way, right? Let me put it to you this way, right?
Okay.
Y'all the motherfuckers who asked to raise minimum wage, not us.
We never asked to raise minimum wage, bro.
We just said, hey, give us better jobs. We wanted better jobs, not to fucking flip burgers for fucking $15 an hour, $20 an hour. Fuck no, give me a fucking skilled job.
Give me a skill, a career.
We asking for better jobs too. Just ain't happening,
bro.
No, you guys think you're entitled to better jobs.
Yeah, you entitled.
And on top of that, what you fail to realize, we can't many of us enter the job, our generation entered the job market at a time when shit was on the decline.
2008?
2008. Many of I mean, wait. James, how old are you?
40.
82?
83.
83? Oh, you just turned 40?
Yep, just turned 40.
Oh, congratulations. Oh, you're Aquarius or Sagittarius?
Capricorn.
Oh, okay.
My fellow Capricorn.
Happy middle life.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, well, I'm like three. I turned 30 and I turned 40 in September recently. So yeah. But anyway, wait, James, you're Haitian, right?
Yes, I am.
Sac passe, mon frère.
I'm good, brother. I'm good.
Okay, I'm just being polite. That's the only thing I know.
No, good. Right. Cool.
But the thing is like, our generation, a lot of us also, things were changing so much that when most of us came out of college, they trained us in a way that was like 20. They gave us we had 20th century tools for 21st century problems. Yep. In a sense, that's the problem. I mean, it's like Plato once said, when you raise your children, do not raise them with your values, for they are meant for a time beyond yours.
Yep.
Your mentality, your mindset is not going to equip them for that. You need to teach them to be adaptive. My father and a lot of them, they made that mistake with my generation, but they wanted, because they want us to have the same things they went. They want us to have the same good experiences they had, but unfortunately, times are changing. But thankfully, I had to learn that my father's a lion, but I had to become a leopard in order to survive. So we had to learn to adapt in things. Now, me, didn't always work out for me, but I had to take it on the chin and keep pushing forward. Our homeboy here, he don't realize that because he's 19, 20 right now. Let me put it this way. It's like the Iron Sheik, he hasn't been put in a camel clutch and made humble.
No,
he ain't been made humble.
Let me say this.
The problem is that I've heard guys like like true. And I'm telling you, when you get into the corporate world and you start working in corporate, you're gonna lose your fucking job, man. I'm telling you, because my brother, who's 3 years younger than me, he has seen many people that act like you in corporate America, and those guys get fired first because they're not looking for people that have that mentality. They're not. I'm telling you. That's why I'm trying to tell you.
That's why it's retention issues because y'all
no, bro. I am being 100% honest with you, bro. Because me and my brother have these conversations all the fucking time, and my brother makes way more money than me, and he does way better than me. But at the same time, we both have the same fucking mentality, and it's like, and he tells me all the fucking time how everybody gets fired on fucking Tuesday.
And this is the thing.
All these guys that went to college and had the same mentality like you. Because my brother even tells me he's 3 years younger than me. I don't understand. I don't know how these guys want to make it.
They're gonna fire our whole generation. Y'all gonna be fired.
Yeah, that is the problem that is going on right. That is I am true. No, hold on, brother. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Truth. I am telling you.
Okay.
I am telling you. And I'm trying to be as honest as I can. Whether you want to believe it or fucking not, I am being honest with you. I'm telling you that is the fucking truth. Because I'm telling you, my brother has to do the job of 5 other people because they keep firing you guys. They have the same fucking mentality. My brother is getting pissed off with the simple fact that he has to do 5 people's jobs because they can't find a competent worker to do the fucking work because they have this fucking mentality the same as you. They're going to come in and it's like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Fuck all that. Blah, blah. I'm the big shot. Blah, blah, blah.
Like, that's it.
Bro.
But true, let me say this, man.
I'm not going to listen to nobody.
You need to stop extrapolating.
But true, let me ask you this. And this is with all due respect. How the fuck are you guys gonna? This is what amazes me about your age group. How are you guys gonna survive if you guys have this self-entitlement? And mind you, our lifespan is people are living longer. So this self-entitlement, where you live in a ecosystem where at the end of the day you have to provide a service which 90% of y'all are not going to provide, and then you're quitting faster than the previous generation to sustain a particular lifestyle. It seems like y'all going to be living in vans.
Well, I don't know what the rest of them going to do. I'm grinding. So personally, I'm getting my education. So I don't know what y'all.
You see that? You see his
that's
answer
what I'm
right
saying.
there?
That's what I'm saying.
What are you saying? I'm getting you're not saying nothing right now. I'm getting my education.
But see, hold on. But see, that's the problem, Truth. Because my brother got his education. These other guys that got fired got their education. But the thing is, because to get those jobs,
I know what y'all talking about.
But to get those jobs and to maintain those jobs,
exactly.
They have to have a certain mentality. See, the thing about it is, just because you go to school doesn't mean you're guaranteed a fucking job.
The only thing college guaranteed.
I'm not fighting for war.
I'm telling you, as a person who has to employ people, the only reason why they pay you as much is because they say, okay, he has a degree. That's it. What keeps you on that job is your work ethic and your mentality. If you have a shitty ass fucking mentality, your chances of keeping that job is zilch. Because hold on. No, I'll take my fucking time. You don't tell me to fucking hurry up.
Along, man.
No,
I'm
talking
about war, and you talking about corporate jobs, man. This shit don't align.
First of all, no. I was talking about war.
Because
what are we talking about? You talking about mentality? I was talking about one thing. And you
Wait a minute. Hold up. Let me step in for a second, okay? I'm going to say this. You're a result of what Kate Tut says, hard times create hard men create soft times create soft men, soft times. And I'm going to tell you, this is what's fucked up, right? This is what's mentally fucked up, right?
I think he meant to say soft times create soft men at the end.
Yeah, that's what he meant to say. Here's what's really fucked up mentally, right? And please don't interrupt.
Sorry.
I've taken this position this week as a sergeant for police, for the security and police for Lexington Market downtown, and all the markets that are owned by the city of Baltimore. The last guy who was in my position, he was supposed to work as a sergeant with me. You know what he did? Because he's younger and way less experienced than me. He did very insulting stuff to his subordinates, meaning, I'm the sergeant, I'm going to be on the computer watching you. He made the people disgruntled. You may outrank them, but you still need them.
Yeah.
You're a team. Yes, I may be the leader at some point, a part of the team, but guess what? I have lieutenants I have to answer to and captains, even though I'm the sergeant now. A wise man observes before he makes critiques. My first day on the job, I had to tell a guy, hey, he had a little incident, right to 95. And 95 saved his job. How did I know this? Because the experience of riding the 95 with the police department I left. You're with a psychologist, a PhD in psychology, when I had a burglary report for him. And I told him about my ex-girlfriend who has her master's in psychology. And he laughed and he said, so much information, not enough knowledge. Knowledge is information put in functional everyday use. A lot of you guys in your generation are not functional.
Thank you.
And here's the part where we're trying to help you out and people in your generation. Don't make the dumbass mistakes we made. Fuck your credit up, do all this shit. Don't just lean on college, because college, the only thing it guarantees you is debt. And when you look at it, it is found very disrespectful not to defend your country. Because no other country in this planet would you ever get the rights you get. We're the only group of people, with the exception of Haiti, to overthrow our oppression. Maybe not our oppressors, but our oppression. That's why I got respect and love for Haitians. And if you notice, a lot of Haitians got love and respect for me. You got to understand. Tell me what other country where the slaves are now equal to the masters. You going to college came off the back of somebody 70 to 150 years ago. And this mediocre attitude that your generation has, this woke culture, oh, I'm offended, I'm this shit, that's the part that is so offensive. There's a reason why they call the experience of black people in America the struggle. I cannot sit and allow somebody to disrespect my country, come in there and subjugate my freedoms that my ancestors fought so hard. My ancestors did not fight for the right to vote. They did not fight to sit at some fucking white counter. They fought for the right to be a goddamn human being. So you got all these crack dumbasses like Cynthia G that said, yeah, I fought to be around white women. No, bitch, we fought not to get lynched. You have military men who served in wars. And I'd be goddamn you disrespect them, who were lynched in fucking full uniform and regalia.
Them men are sacrifices, blessings to them. But I don't want to do that in this day and age.
Talking. Listen. Comprehend.
Oh, okay.
See, every generation of men is supposed to defend the country. Okay?
Yeah.
This is the weak knee shit that y'all been fed by these feminists and these LGBT fucking punks. And the reason why I'm calling them punks, because there's plenty of lesbians and gays who fought in the military side by side who would cuss each one of them fucking out. Oh, that's so offensive. Guess what? They would have said it first.
And how many of them, through the back channels of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, got the fucking shaft?
And I mean, how many of those LGBT, the true LGBT, who had to hide who they were and served honorably, but are insulted of how these motherfuckers wear the uniform now? How many?
I mean, that's the white LGBT. What you want me to do about that?
No, it's all God knows. We are not an island amongst ourselves, man. Damn. Why can't black people understand that shit?
You do know there were all types of races of people who were some of my friends, some of my closest, one of my best friends is a fucking is a goddamn Afghanistan war vet who was a combat medic. She's fucking a lesbian.
That's cool. Y'all got it. We're not going to agree on this subject. So
no. Shut the fuck up and listen.
Okay.
It's not about agreements. You don't have to agree that 2 + 2 = 4.
Okay, cool. Y'all got it.
It's so obliviously known. Okay? See, this is the part that you don't like. It's somebody telling you about your goddamn self. You're like my homegirl Chanel. And I had to tell her, you know the reason why you single? Because you bitches are lazy. And I'm going to give you an example of why I said that. She went to the fire department same time as I went to the police department. Never picked a good man in her life. Couldn't. But this is the fucked up part. She talks about she worked for this place where they do care for elderly people or people who are handicapped or disabled. Well, the women are okay, but the men, I said, but the men worked on fucking hard labor jobs and broke their bodies down to provide for their families. Well, y'all men don't take care of each other. Then it should be the woman's job to make sure that man's fucking healthy then. Oh, y'all blame the black woman for anything. I said, because y'all lazy bitches. Said it just like that. You lazy, insignificant bitches. Y'all don't want to do shit for the black man, but you want to take all his fucking money. And this is the fucking attitude they bestowed upon their kids. And they wonder why nobody takes them seriously. They wonder why nobody will marry them. What good are they? What fucking good are they? You better off working in a goddamn coal mine than dealing with these bitches now. You better off. If I had to rely on a woman rather than my own damn mother, I'd have been dead from COVID. Because first of all, you just like these fucking females in our community. You have no sense of fucking duty, no sense of honor, and no sense of like, okay, it's my job to take up the fucking banner. Why do you think we got people damn near 100 years old still in fucking Congress? Because you motherfuckers... Huh?
Can I ask a question, Charles?
Go ahead.
Because James Kills actually sparked this question. Why do you come on these panels, Pookie?
Because I want to. That's all I'm gonna put to it. So you can go ahead and move on.
No, I'm asking because is it not just to learn and better yourself, or are you just up here just to talk shit?
Yeah, but I'm not just going to assimilate to y'all beliefs because I'm in a military family as well. And just because y'all in the military don't mean that everybody in the military agree with you. Like I said, I got people that have fought in Korea, in Vietnam as well, Charles, that don't necessarily agree with your sentiments. Rather, some of the brothers think they were shoving shit. Even back in the day.
No, it's not. It's not just about that. It's just like, you know. I don't. Okay, I really don't see any growth.
What?
your thought process at all.
In other words, I
just want to say this one quick, because ever since you've been coming on these panels, it's always a struggle, and I'm like, if you're not learning anything from us, why do you still come on? Why do you still come on these panels?
I'm learning y'all a little bit.
But this is
you gonna let me talk, or you just gonna keep saying no? Okay. Right.
What I'm saying is like we don't see it. So what growth have you? I ask you this question. I'll shut up. What growth have? What? Don't do that, man. Don't do that.
Hurry up.
You know what, Charles? You know what, Charles? Before I become very disrespectful, I'm just gonna go ahead and leave.
No, you're good, man.
No. Because how he speaks to me, because I know he's younger, I know that's a sign of disrespect, and I'm not gonna take anybody's disrespect. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave before I be disrespectful to him.
You can dish it out. You can surely dish it out. You keep asking.
No, because I am on someone else's panel.
Okay.
I am on someone else's panel, and me being knowing I respect Charles, I'm not going to do that to his panel. So
I'm like this.
Guys, I bid you adieu. I bid you adieu.
But I'm gonna say this to you, truth. You need to grow the fuck up. Seriously, you are not my motherfucking equal. I will. Truth, I'm gonna tell you the truth. My 30-year-old nephew wouldn't do what you just fucking did. Okay? We clear, right? We tracking, right?
We're tracking.
Nigga, are we tracking?
We are tracking.
Because if you do that fucking deep voice to me ever again in person, I would slap you to the fucking ground.
We are tracking. I mean, this is my
we tracking, right?
We are tracking, sir.
So if you do it again, I'm gonna find out and I'm gonna slap the shit out of you.
We are tracking.
Shut up.
We are tracking.
Because shut up.
Okay.
Because now you're being disrespectful as fuck. Because when you did that fucking, you're being very disrespectful. And see, that's the problem with the social media shit.
There are no
repercussions for people being disrespectful, as there should be.
That social media got y'all all fucked up. I don't know. I've never seen, and again, as much as y'all say, or individuals such as yourself, Pookie, that say that it's not as influential, it is very clear through conversations and the way you respond. It has a huge effect on your growth and development.
I didn't say it was not as influential.
I'm not saying you said that. I'm telling you from what that's what I'm assessing. And many of us on this panel assess.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, when we're telling you, we are outside of that matrix. We're telling you, this is the reality. This is why I said to you, and this is why the other brother said, I don't know how your generation or younger millennials are going to survive in this world, because the self-absorption and self-entitlement is so crazy to me. Where at the end of the day, it seems like your group are going to self-destruct and then still cry help, when at the end of the day we're going to look at you like, well, you couldn't keep a job. You for what? You can't even do it for a year. You talk about, oh, education's going to save me, but then you realize you didn't come from money. You got to participate in the workforce. So how are you gonna, if you have this self-entitlement, who you gonna, you mean that means you can run an entire facility or institution?
Mm-hmm.
This is where the logic, for me looking at this logistically and logically, I'm like, how the fuck are you guys gonna make it? If you think,
I've been putting in work since I was 16, so
yeah, brother, this is the problem. You putting in work and you don't have experience. This is the thing that kills me. What separates?
16. Wait a minute. Hold on. Excuse me. I don't mean to cut you off. From 16, right? From 16, right? How old are you now?
20. Well,
how does Nigga, I've been coaching
You keep talking about my generation, though. That's what I'm saying.
I've been coaching wrestling longer than you've been alive, and you're gonna just bring up your 4 years to men who are double your age.
I mean, well, damn. I guess I just
You
won't
see
say
how
shit. I ain't done
insulting
shit.
that is?
That's what exactly.
It's
You see how
insulting to talk
insulting?
about the shit that
It's
I've done.
insulting because, nigga, I got a kid older than that. Okay, your 4 years does not. Let me put it to you this way: 20 in your generation does not equal mine. My 20 does not equal my father's.
Oh
His
no.
20 does not equal his father's. His father's 20. His 20 didn't equal his father. Okay?
But Charles, you know what separates us from them is that you, just like I never, when I first came onto your pen, I was going through something. I was like, you know what? This brother has some knowledge and some sense. I'm gonna remove myself and ask you, how can I improve myself?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna shut the fuck up and listen.
And did it help?
Because your father had experience, right? So you shut the fuck up and listen.
Mm-hmm.
But his generation, they can't shut the fuck up and listen.
No,
They
they
automatically.
Wait, do they have anybody to talk to? First of all, I mean, think about it. James, think about it. His generation has grown up without a lot of male presence, and on top of that, look at how he's talking. Everything. I remember, was it like? I think it was around this time. I think it was like sometime last year, I believe it was. We had a panel like this, right? A.L. Evans, me, Mr. Z, Charles. I'm not sure if Charles was there. A.L. was getting hot, just like Mel. Hey, wait, Mel.
I think it was my parent. It was.
I think it was. I think it was your panel. Hang on a second. Hold on before I continue. Mel.
Yeah.
Woosah. Keep going to woosah, man. Keep doing the woosah. See, you see, this is why I call myself the court jester of the Coliseum. But hey, you got to have one fucking joke in this outfit. But anyway,
it's funny because there are so many parallels to the 40-year-old men, or 40. I'll say from 37 to 42-year-old men that come to panels. Mm-hmm. We have and this is also internationally. We have very similar experiences. If we didn't go to war, we went hard, knee deep in fucking workforce. And it was funny because we had to work with, like, the technology y'all fucking enjoy. We had to be the one motherfuckers to figure it out. We were the test dummies.
That's everything.
You have no idea how much fun it was just to tinker with stuff.
That was
you know how fucked up it was for, you know how crazy it was for me when it came to computers? Because I had to, and this is growing up in East Africa, folks. My dad did the right thing. When we moved back home from where we was, he thought it would be a good idea that we get a computer, because at least he wanted to make sure that we would remain computer literate, because when I was in elementary school, I learned how to use a computer, Macintosh and whatnot, and Windows.
The old Mac.
Yeah, like, you remember how to play that turtle thing and everything in the late 80s, early 90s? That was good. But also we learned old Macintoshes, learned how to use Windows, learned how to type and everything. My mom knew how to write typewriters, but when my mom wanted to learn how to use Windows, when she asked me, my sister, who's like 5 years my junior, was showing her, no, 4 years my junior, she tried to show her. Sorry, 3 years, my bad. I'm losing track of my sister's age. Can't ask a woman her age. My sister kind of explained to her the way it was too complicated for her. Assuming my mother would understand shit, except my mother, not that well versed. So when it came to me, I took the time to explain to her every single aspect of it, detail to detail. How to do this, that, and a third. I remember I was working at a lumber yard once.
That's what she said.
Yeah, well, there was one young lady. You ain't shit, Charles. I love you for that. Yeah. I remember teaching my mom how to use a computer, how to work Windows word processor, because it was a new version. Because she had known how to use the one from '98, and then Windows 2000, the XP, that was new. And when I started messing with it, I was like having fun learning about everything. Then I showed it to her. And then when I went to the lumber yard and learned how to work some of the machinery, I remember showing somebody how to work it, but I also told them also how to exercise the precaution of that, because I wanted them to learn how to do things but do it safely, so they wouldn't get hurt. A lot of people, but like even like when I said earlier about the previous time we had a panel like this and Truth was acting like this, AL was all hot heated. Everybody was like wondering, and then that's when I had to say, yo, fellas, we forget that this boy we're dealing with has been trained since he was a kid how to think like a female. He thinks like a even though he's not 20, he thinks he's cleansed of it. Guess what? He's wrong, because it's coming out. It's become second nature basically for him. So he's got to go through some serious program. He's got to reverse engineer that shit.
Yeah. True.
On top, because you can hear it in the way he was talking just a while ago. He'd be
true. I got a question.
Hold on, James.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We can't let him talk anymore. But the thing is, think about it. The way he was like, just deflecting the shit. Anytime we talk, he would just like start saying shit under his breath. Gaslighting. Gaslighting like a motherfucker. Getting all passive aggressive like a female. And even now, he can't even shut the fuck up. Because he's like, it's exactly what Plato said. Wise men have something to say, but a fool has to say something.
You wouldn't say that to a man's face. You wouldn't.
See, there you go. So Pookie, let me be real with you, man. Like I'm not even the way you talking. I'm gonna tell you straight up, man. The way you talking, as if you really have the skill set to put somebody down. And I'm gonna tell you, you know what I'm saying? Like growing up in the era that me, Charles, and many of these men is. There's a reason why like we shut the fuck up a lot of times, because at the end of the day, this panel hides a lot of shit. And there's a lot of things that you don't know about me, I don't know about you. But one thing I do know is that the way you bark is not the way you bite. And most niggas is not going to be talking the way you're talking, especially when this is like an environment where
you're talking this way. Mel ain't going to be screaming in people's face.
Pook, let me just say this, man. That's you. I didn't grow up in that area. I didn't grow up where you grew up. I'm gonna tell you straight up, like that's one thing that separates me from you, man. Like, and this is not even me coming at you like just to come at you. I'm just speaking 100% with you. I pray that you really humble yourself. I really do.
Humble, y'all
I'm just telling you straight up. I'm just telling you straight up. I hope you I pray that you humble yourself, man, because the way you move and the way you talk, and the fact that you, like you said, you ain't even about you want to defend this country, and I gave you a perfect example. What's the difference? Hold on. Let me finish. Let me just speak. I gave you a perfect example. What's the difference between an international terrorist versus a domestic terrorist? Because a criminal is a criminal regardless, right?
True.
No matter what color he is. So at the end of the day, if someone run up on you and you don't know if he's domestic or international, you basically said you ain't gonna do shit. So with Charles and everybody else, hold on, let me finish. Hold on. No, this is not even about. This is what it spills over.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say this like I would tell you, like I would say this in your face. You sound pussy.
Independently,
because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, hold on, let me finish. At the end of the day, the fact that you would let anybody run up on you, no matter where they're from, into your space, because at the end of the day, we all live in one big pot, says a lot. And this is where again let me finish, man. The fact that the way you talk, as if you would do something,
right?
You come off like you about something, but the fact that at the end of the day you do a lot of female shit.
Understand?
You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it 100 with you. You do a lot of female shit, it's kind of, you sound like a hypocrite fan. And this is why,
Because
like,
I
this
won't fight
panel is
for
trying to be
stripes. I'll
respectful.
fight for
The panel
myself.
is trying to, let me tell you, I'm gonna be real with you. The panel's trying to protect you from harming yourself. But it's quite clear you're gonna do the self-destruction.
I understand. Well, nothing's gonna happen to me, gentlemen. I'm still not fighting for no stripes and no flags and none of that. I'll fight for myself. You can protect your house. I love thy neighbor, but I don't
You
have to
can't even
pick up the
protect
sword for
yourself,
every.
man.
I don't have to pick up the sword for every ungodly man that comes in my presence.
It's
I
not
don't
even
know.
about
I don't
picking
know
up
where
the
you're
torch.
coming. I don't know where you're coming from. I don't know what misdeeds you have done, so you can protect your own land since you're standing up so amorally strong, and I'll protect mine.
I'm gonna put it to you this way.
Simple. I don't.
If you don't defend your country, there's no land to protect. There's a folly to being a king. There's a folly into being a king without a kingdom. Okay.
Okay.
Because here it is, right? You think white supremacy is bad, my nigga. Asian supremacy is fucked up. They damn near look alike, and they fucking races against each other. Imagine what they do when you have somebody dramatically looking different than them.
The only thing they would need from you, the only time they would let you live, or the only time you'd be useful to them, is when it came to is either for breeding purposes, or to be the athletes they need to win their athletic endeavors. Do you have any idea? I mean, let me give you an example of me. Like I said, where I come from. Do you have any idea how many European countries, or Middle Eastern countries for that matter, are recruiting Kenyan, Ugandan, Ethiopian, middle or long distance runners to represent them?
I mean, shit, look at the World Cup. Look at France.
France is second, third. Oh no, I'll give you a better example. I'll give you a better example, James. Look at Morocco.
Exactly.
Not most of those players. Most of those players weren't even born and raised in Morocco. They're all second generation French, Dutch, Belgian, even Spanish nationals.
Mm-hmm.
Their starting goalkeeper, Yunus Bunu. You know where he was born? Would you like to know where he was born?
Go ahead, brother.
Montreal, Quebec, Canada. But he grew up in Casablanca. He was born in Canada, but he was raised in Morocco. The other there's another guy, Yunus Al-Khadwi. He's another goalkeeper. He was born in Spain. No, he was born in Morocco, but he was born inside the Spanish enclave of Melilla. Now, a lot of people will tell you, and what you were talking about, people talking pussy and everything, whatnot. When Charles and everybody, his cohorts were going to war for 9/11. Before that, when I was in high school, there were guys who were running their mouths talking about, because we had a border conflict with Ethiopia at the time. Like everybody was like, "Say, we gonna go." A lot of them, punk bitches. I remember hearing from my mom, one of my neighbors, her son tried to duck the draft. Me, I got drafted out of high school, so I had to wait till my SAT, my matriculation exam, which is like the SATs, the results came out. Once came out, I came home. A lot of other people, they were ducking because they didn't want to go.
But this goes
because they knew after they flunked, they would go immediately into war. I didn't find out until war went from 98 to 2000. We didn't find out until 2003 the names of those who were killed. And a lot of the people who were killed, I found out, were guys I went to high school with, guys I was in basic training with. Imagine how their families are fucked up by that.
This goes even deeper, man. Even if you remove the element of war, the question comes down to survival. And
absolutely,
this is what concerns me about Pookie's group. I don't know how the fuck they gonna survive. That is the ultimate. That is the ultimate way to survive any war, right? Like, how are you going to survive in a dangerous terrain to actually win the battle, the entire war, right?
Have they been trained about survival and shit? I mean, how many?
But this,
I'm sorry.
I would say this. I don't think it's even. Go ahead.
It's got so bad where a gentleman at a cigar lounge I frequent, he had to come to his daughter's aid to jump her car because he's 40, his daughter's 20.
Wait, what?
Yeah, brother, it's not bad. It's not bad.
No, I know. I mean, the age difference. Charles.
I mean, he's 40, his daughter's 20.
Oh, what was it? High school sweetheart or some shit, college sweetheart or some shit like that?
Or just fucking.
Yeah, that too. That I figured that was worst case scenario.
The one thing about it, one thing about black men, a lot of us, even if it was just sex and we end up getting pregnant, we taking the kids. Believe it or not. So here's the crazy part. He went to jump his daughter's car. She had 4 girls with her in her car, and there were 4 guys in the back in their car.
Yep. That's how bad it is.
And he was wondering, like, what and the guys asked him to come here for a second, and they were like, "Can we watch you do it because we don't know how to jump a car?"
Yeah, that's how bad it is.
Motherfucker, I learned how to jump a car from my own father when I was like, what, 14?
Say that part again. Say that part again.
Motherfucker, I learned how to jump a car when I was 14 from my own father.
But
I learned how to change it. I watched my dad. My dad made me watch him change a tire at 9.
But that's
9 years of age.
What are most of these guys missing?
A father.
And then
or a positive male or a male role model.
Guess who a lot of these women are keeping in these boys' lives?
Away from the fathers.
Yep.
Good evening, panel.
Good evening, Lionel.
Aside from them keeping them from their fathers, they're also keeping them away from men with qualified backgrounds. Let me ask you guys a question. You know, you're saying that, you know, how are these guys are going to survive? Here's the question: who are their mentors?
Another
thing before that. And if they do have a mentor, is their mentor actually molding them to be someone that's accountable and can be reliant, or are they just sunning them every chance that they get? Because if you're because you're looking at how Pookie responds.
Well, let me say this. I think Pookie, I'm speaking to him about him specifically. He's been on these panels long enough, and there are many men of merit that have spoken to him, and he chooses to do a different thing. So when you have a generation that basically continues to, as they say, it goes one ear, comes out the other, there's nothing you can do about that shit anymore. Because many of those people in his age group, I've seen this time over time again. Because the older millennials will actually take the time to actually sit down and have a conversation voluntarily.
Even if you don't like it.
Even if you don't like it. Even myself, I've actually stepped in. I'm talking about from personal experience. I've even stepped in certain situations with young men. I'm like, why are y'all doing this? And it's quite clear. They have this adverse, it's like what do you call it? Adverse reaction to a medication, right? And it's just like, nah, we ain't doing that. I know better. That's why, you know, as Bad Guy mentioned, the whole concept of adaptation, they don't want to adapt. They have their own lane. They want to keep doing that lane. And we're telling them through history, through data, personal experience, you're going to end up in the worst situation. And the fact that you don't even want to take the resources, you may not agree with it, but the resource and information to protect you, nah, it's over, man. You can't. This mentorship is out the window because they don't want to. They don't want it.
That's because you want to know why. That's
another thing.
Hold on for a second. Let me make a real quick point. The reason why for that, because you have to look at what their generation is producing. They're seeing results faster where they're working amongst themselves than they are working under us.
I disagree with you on that, brother.
You hey, you have an opinion and you have the right to disagree, but there's someone out there who sees the same thing I see.
What I mean, when you say results, what results are we talking? For me, when I hear results, are we talking about growth and development as a man, or growth
No,
and
of course
development
not.
as an individual? Because neither. I mean, I'm looking at again, I'm using Pookie as an example. I don't see much growth and development because they can't even sustain the knowledge that is being passed on to them.
What they're getting is their
Y'all know my qualifications, so you got a snapshot. I got a snapshot of you. And I know y'all got potty mouths like a bug. I mean, qualified professionals, you know how to keep it under lid. You know, some gentlemen they talk as if they have qualifications due to age, but how they choose to articulate themselves like Brother Mel at times, kind of peer rated.
Hey, no, leave him out of this. Leave him alone.
No. Let
No.
Don't. The young thing
He baiting you, son. Back up. He baiting you.
No. Let him speak. Let him speak.
Respond to him.
Exactly. Don't do that.
So,
I'm gonna respond to you. Say what you want to say, Pookie. Say what you want to say. See if you can school me or something like that. Someone that's way older than you.
Schooling you, I'm just saying
you're wasting your time doing that. That's the whole point. But that's the whole point that you're doing. Is you're wasting your time doing that. Because at the end of the day, you have double his experience and you also have double of his results.
That's fine.
You're allowing him.
That's cool.
You're allowing him to basically bring you down to his level.
I'm not bringing him down to nothing. I'm talking about what you do, and I'm talking to Mel. Not bringing him down.
You're not talking to him anymore. He's not going to respond to you, friend. I mean, I'm basically.
I don't need to respond. I was making a statement.
I'm going to make a statement.
It's okay.
I'm going to make a statement real quick.
Because you know what? No, I want to say something real quick. Let me say something real quick.
Go ahead.
Now you want to speak.
Here's the biggest fun thing about it, though. It's not just Pookie's age. Picking between his age and up to 30. See, a lot of your generation right now going on, constantly not doing crap with yourself, just going on complaining.
Yeah.
But all the information that's given online to y'all so much, but yet y'all complain so much, making pair bonded groups. You're not even initiating the information that y'all giving to y'all.
And you know, Mel, it's real-time information. This is real-time information.
Something. Y'all want to challenge us so bad, blame us for our generation, our mistakes and everything. Yet you're not even applying the knowledge and even implementing it at all. Period. And I've seen this.
And we're not even responsible for most of this mess.
It could go from information from us, even some dating coaches, or even other people that y'all, you know what, y'all want to talk trash about, but yet we live certain lives that y'all can't even afford. Dream of actually having to want to live, but we put in the hard work to do it and everything. But yet y'all want to complain online so much and everything because technically, your wife ain't this and that, your man this and that, blah blah blah. I'm someone making power moves.
You don't know what my generation
power moves at all. Period. And this
you don't know.
Period. About it.
Yeah, that's a female connotation. And at the end of the day, we still 20. So you don't know what we gonna do. You talking about the future?
Let me tell you
talking about the future.
Let me tell you what
hypothetical.
I'm gonna tell you what your generation is gonna do.
All right, man.
Your generation is gonna sit down, bend over, and take it.
Well, then, okay.
So many of your generation said, "I'm not gonna do this because y'all not going to the military. You don't want to defend shit, but you want the benefits. You're scared when somebody confronts you with your bullshit."
I'll go if I get the benefits. I will go if I get the benefits. That's it.
So you're basically
I
a
will go if
mercenary.
I get them. If I can get if I can get DI bills.
It's already there. You're not even going. So what are you talking about?
Okay, can I finish? All right, go ahead. They're not there. DI bills been deteriorated over the last 30 years. They're not there. You research. Where's DI bills?
You chose not to go.
Where's the GI Bill? Where's the GI Bill?
I gotta shout out a couple of people real quick. Always F Holiday, thank you for the support. And Mr. McDonald, thank you for the support. I'm gonna say this. Number one, here's the greatest issue that I have, right? The greatest issue that I have is this: that many of a Negro may not get the point of actually going to the military because some people may actually be a detriment to those people in it. And military because some people, because one, a lot of people want to play games and think this is fucking shit. No, you're at war, or you could be at peacetime and you're dealing with heavy machinery. You fucking around playing around and you at the range and somebody gets shot. You going to war, nigga. None of you motherfuckers are gonna end up getting a fucking dishonorable discharge, which is worse than a goddamn felony. And people see this is the part about it. You gotta be prepared to do a lot of this shit, man. You really do. And what's very humbling is this: there are people out there who are immigrants who are gonna take over the military. A lot of y'all scared. Let's face it, a lot of y'all scared. But yet, when you're raised in this fucking intersectional feminism, which basically what it is, you're being told, please hit the Cash App and Super Chats, please, if you feel entertained. You're coming out, and a lot of people in your generation are this. And I know everybody plays the generational role, but guess what? The role of a man never changed. The men still have to protect. The women still have to nurture at some point. Now, we have a bastardized system of nurturing, yes. But when the men says we refuse to protect, guess what happens? Shit gets fucked up in the game.
It's real fucked up in the game.
When men stop protecting and doing their duty, guess what? Women and children are done. They're done. People be like, oh, would you protect Cynthia G? Well, it's my job. And the only reason I'm going to protect that bitch is because I hope one of my female loved ones, some man with some honor and some dignity, would do the same for them if I'm not around. You feel me?
I feel you.
And a lot of times what the generational gap is, and this is what y'all need to realize,
Okay.
if you want the respect of older men, you have to go through the crucible your goddamn self. And the one thing that the younger millennials and the Z's are doing, they don't want to go through the goddamn crucible, but they want the benefits of actually being a man.
No, I want the
Well,
pay.
where's the gauntlet for that, to tell you
This
the
is my
truth?
thing. Okay, this is specifically my thing. I can't speak for anybody else in my generation. This is
I'm
my
talking
thing.
about the whole generation. You can't do that.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
I'm
brother.
talking to my whole generation, then. And this is what I've seen. I think people from my generation, it's less about the crucible itself or not, and it's more about the benefits that have deteriorated from doing the crucible. And I can understand there's a value in protecting country. It's something that's always been a part of society. It's something that's very needed. But there's also could you argue that there's also something for a man's value, a person's value, just in general, being appreciated by the society, just because
Well, this,
economic downslope
You asking that to me, right?
has nothing to do with me.
You asking me that, right? I'm going to tell
Yes,
you what the
sir.
society's going to tell you.
It doesn't fucking matter. I already know.
I'm going to tell you, fuck your feelings, because you got to do your part.
Right.
See, the benefits is this. Here's the benefits that a lot of motherfuckers don't understand. You drink out of a fucking dirty sewage. Were you born healthy in a sanitized hospital? You didn't put the motherfucker up. For every woman who says I don't need a man, they should live in a fucking tent, because it was not a bunch of women who built your house.
Yo, can I piggyback after you're done?
Sure. So when you look at the benefits, a lot of people need to say, what were the benefits? Even if my parents get on my nerves, they put me through private education till 9th grade, and I was way more advanced then. My parents financed me to wrestle overseas. Okay? We're not rich people. As much as they get on my nerves, they supported me. So I have to do something to support them when they're in their 60s. So when we look at benefits, we forget you got a lot of benefits before you were asked to be a part. But go ahead, James.
So, let me say this: the reason why it's so important for men to go through the gauntlet, the gridiron, or the Coliseum, as we would say, right? There's an internal growth and development that really dictates how you're going to mold your children. And that is the most greatest thing that a man can do to actually transfer that type of DNA. Because if there are certain things that the world brings upon your children, you know that genetically, spiritually, and mentally, that you've ingrained them to fight the adversary challenges that come before their way. And this is why our side is looking at your side like, man, you guys are in some motherfucking trouble. And this whole individualism is making it even far worse, because when you look at the bigger spectrum, the challenges that are going to be, as they say, as time goes on, things get harder and harder. What concerns me for you guys is because of the individual attitudes, these ideologies that really don't exist. And you think that you're going to survive without actually getting not only knowledge, as they say, knowledge transfer, but actually testing to create a new adaptation, a new buffer zone for you. That's the shit that scares me. Because
I don't believe that, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The fact that this is the thing, right? So I'll give you, I'll simplify this. If you went to the hospital right now, you don't know what's going on with you, right? But you're like, nurse, can you tell me what's going on? And they give you a particular assessment. And you're like, nah, it's something else. Then you go to a specialist or you go to a doctor, right? And then you're like, nah, and then they send you to a specialist, right? You went through 3 types of buffer zones of individuals who have X amount of experience until they find the exact what's going on with your body, right? That is no different from what a man has to go through in life. And when you don't take the challenge or participate or really try to really get this game, you basically gonna die off a lot faster than you think.
You got to work together. That you got to get grit through it. What you mean? Lessons I'm learning, but I mean that's the general sentimentality of my generation. What you want me to do? We can't tell you anything.
It's not even about what. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what I want you to do. Take the words that the men are telling you on this panel very serious and actually apply it to your life.
I've been applying it, but if we talk about you, if y'all continue to talk about my whole generation, there's nothing I can do.
No, Pooh. I'm talking. You said to you. Yes, and this is why they said earlier, we don't see growth. I've been on these panels for a long, and I remember you right clear. And to see that you still display certain behaviors, that's just me doing the self-assessment. All these men are saying the same thing. We're not even attacking you. We just keeping it 100 with you, as men should do.
Y'all was definitely attacking earlier.
No, Pooh. See, that's the difference. Hold on, Pooh. Let me tell you something. Let me say this. If you take that, let me put it this way. If you take what men are being critical about as an attack and we ain't putting no hands on you, that is something that you really need to self-identify within yourself.
Not what y'all were saying. It was all that. No, it was all that carrying on.
Yeah, but hold on. Let me look. But Pooh, but you gotta understand, it's not even about. Hold on, I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
I understand what
it's not even about the physical confrontation, because you're in a space where actually there's a buffer zone. Once you leave this space and you get out in this real world, when you step out your house, the gloves are off.
Yeah, I understand.
This is what we trying to tell you. You playing this game because you behind this screen and you can do what you want. But when you get out, when you step out your car, especially as a black man, get out that fucking house. Ain't no mercy out here, man. This is why we say you. This is why we saying you playing a very dangerous game.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Go ahead,
tell you
Charles.
When you would stop at that cop, you would have done that shit in the right city. They'd have beat your ass.
Whoop that.
I didn't. I told you that there.
Nah, they would have beat your ass because a lot of this shit, it's like women. You just can't help your fucking self, and that's what really gets down into the boiling issue. You can't help yourself to do the snarky because that's what the fuck it is. Snarky, under your breath, have to make a goddamn comment. Have to make a goddamn comment about every little thing. Have to. There's sometimes when the best thing to do is not even give a dignified but a fucking answer. But you can't do it. Motherfuckers can't do it. It's like my homegirl Chanel. But this is the reason why I never took you seriously. You have an 18-year-old and a 4-year-old, two different fathers. She listened to my shit when I talked about single mothers. Yeah. And how a lot of them don't have value. How, in a man's mind, if you have children by two men and you marry neither, that means you're not loyal. You're not. We're just going to keep it biologically and mentally. That's how men really are. Women are fucking shit free of the way men really think.
They don't want to.
Charles, would you even say as a woman? Would you say as a woman ages and she's not even married? That's the red flag right there.
Especially if she's past 30. You literally if your daughter's 4 and you're 38 now, will be 39 this year. You were 34 years old. You are cemented a grown ass woman. And the only thing you could do was get a bullshit engagement. No marriage. But you still get this motherfucker baby. See, this is the problem with modern women. And this is the problem with the generations. They'd rather do the mother shit because you know why? Because it's easy to be a mother than it is a wife. A wife's the duty.
Charles, this reminds me of like the fact that you got people who, again, a younger generation that poses so much on social media, but don't even have a fucking credit card. Don't even drive a car. Like, we grew up in the era like, damn, I'm gonna get me a car. I'm gonna learn something. I'm gonna get on these streets.
You got kids now.
Well, they live in a system where they don't really need, where they believe they don't need it because the idea is all they need is the money. That's why you can't teach them anything.
So hold on, brother Lionel. Let me give you a data point that I just read 2 weeks ago. So they said basically the generation of Pookies, right? The reason why they're financially struggling so much is because they depend so heavily on services than actual individual skill sets. And one of the reasons why they're projecting that they won't even have money for retirement because the simple fact most of their income is based off a service, pay for service, everything. So they're already wired to a point where, because they don't know how to change a tire, just send it to the shop. I don't want to drive, I'll just take Uber. Then it's financially putting them so far back that they don't even realize, and this is why I think they say you got 30% of early millennials or whatever, 40% that are making six figures still live paycheck to paycheck, because when they look at the data, 90% of them don't even have individual skill sets to survive. That shit is scary to me.
And here's the point that it gets to it. There's no way in hell you can listen to myself, Art New Style TV, Art of Itmore, BGS, Dr. T, any of the Namer, James, Mel, Jesse Veal III, Lionel, all these F. Holiday, Bruce Almighty, they're all these smart, well-to-do men, even if we're average men. There's no way in hell you can tell me you still got the same fucking mentality if you truly took what we said to heart. And there's another thing that I've noticed with generations is the lack of pure respect.
No respect money, no respect time.
Pure respect. And what's scary is this. When you have guys who have some worth and they bestow this shit to you without you paying, that's a great honor. And a lot of you guys don't understand that, man.
They don't. They don't.
Understand. Let me tell you how fucking privileged you really are. I'm gonna tell you how privileged you are. A motherfucker like Dr. T, Green Gorilla, and Dr. Neil, and Dr. Dunbar, white people will pay them thousands.
Just to hear them talk.
Just to hear them talk.
That speaking gauge. Hey, you have no idea how much of a killing a lot of these talking heads, these political pundits, are making on the speaking gauge circuit.
Mm-hmm. You don't even understand this one thing, right? Number one, you know how much money guys like Dr. Neil, Dr. T, Green Gorilla are losing talking to us?
Tens of thousands, at least 5 figures.
And sometimes we probably 6 now.
Yeah, that's why I said at least.
Would you even? Would you? It's sad. It's crazy. You got guys like Jordan Peterson, who makes millions.
Don't get me started on him.
Right? Like, and this is again. This goes back to the lack of appreciation for the free game from highly intellectual men.
Yeah.
And they don't have to do this. They really don't.
I mean, you think about it right now, right? With a guy of my background, I want you to really pay this attention, right? A guy of my background, I got something that Brandon Tatum doesn't have. That's called military service. If I actually stopped this shit about the manosphere and actually talked about, shit that white people want to hear, it's funny. Your boy would I'll probably get like 10,000 subscribers every week.
What's that clown? That used to be a cop. You know who I'm talking about, my brother Charles. Dave, thank you. Just perfect. That's a perfect example.
By the way, James, excuse me, James, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
no.
One thing I think we're forgetting about the whole programming with Pookie here. Do you remember Patrice O'Neal, first of all?
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember listening to Black Phillip, all 12 episodes?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you remember there was at one point? Do you remember there was one time when they had Kareth Foster as their second co-host?
Yep.
And then both of them tried to talk to her, and then Patrice and Dante said, "Listen, let me talk to her." And we tried to talk to her. Patrice stopped him immediately because he recognized the expression on Kareth's face, where she was like not looking at him, not paying attention to him, but looking right through him and looking at the wall.
Like, who are you?
Like she was tuning out.
Yep.
Because the point I'm trying to make is like the indoctrination that Pookie's dealt with, and he doesn't realize it because it's all become subconscious to him. Because they got it to him when he was young and impressionable from a very young age. So subconsciously, he still does it, even though he doesn't realize it. That lack of self-awareness is that he doesn't want to listen. If he'll only listen when he wants to listen.
Yeah.
And this is the problem. Late. Yeah, and this is the problem with with guys who are drawn to Andrew Tate. Now, I've said this before about this motherfucker, and James Keel and everybody. They were like, they just gave me my props, and I appreciate that because I called it. A lot of people didn't realize it. I don't blame y'all because you don't really understand what I see. It's not your fault, but it's guys like Tate, the way they draw young men like who's like Pookie's age and a little bit older, is that they're drawn to the shiny shit, the shiny things. They're like fucking magpies. That's why they say young men, boys are magpies. Men are like owls or even hawks.
Yeah. Fact.
And then you have some of these guys who are like fucking vultures. So the problem is we want to talk to this guy. We don't talk to his language. Do you have any, like, I remember, was it like, Snowman Charles back in a previous, yeah, I talk a lot, but I'm connecting the fucking dots, folks. And I'm fucking annoying. I know it. I've been an annoying motherfucker my whole life. So bear with me. But I remember in a previous chat, Charles had Snowman on. We were talking about how is it a lot of you them aren't getting the numbers of subscribers like they're supposed to. All next thing you know, you have some of these people who are coming out the fucking woodwork, and they're getting a huge explosion of their subscribers. And I had to break it down to them, like, no, it's that magpie kind of effect, man. A lot of these dudes are coming like that pearly things. What's the face and everything?
Yeah.
She's a white female. I don't know if you're familiar with MGTOW.
Yeah.
But the dudes in MGTOW, they were like saying this shit. And I remember this one particular MGTOW who I still listen to. His name was Spetsnaz. He gave his breakdown about female MRAs and the dangers they can pose, because unfortunately some guys they want people speaking out for them, but unfortunately they'd rather hear it from a woman's face, coming from a woman,
because that's why the way they're raised.
Yes.
They don't respect female authority.
And Karen Strawn, but Karen Strawn, for example, she proved herself. But so many other women, they didn't. They just come out of there, out the woodwork, just to get in there and get in, get out when the getting's good. And the problem is like, it's like when I explained to Snowman. Take Fox News, for example. Why do you think they have the female anchors dressed a certain way, looking a certain way?
Yep.
Because they know the demographic they're targeting.
Yep.
And they understand that they have to cater them to a certain way. That's why a little loudmouth like Tommy Lahren ended up there.
Yep.
Of course, her little ass shot herself. She didn't shoot herself in the foot. She stepped on a fucking claymore and blew both her legs off when she went off and said, "Men make a plan." And then let's not forget Kevin Samuels. He broke it down in one episode. Then sometime later in another one of his other live streams, he broke down the apology she put out sometime later. Because bitch, if you think you can just say the shit the fuck you want when you are signed to a major network, think again. Oh, wait a minute, second before I go. Mel, keep going with the woo-saw. Woo-saw, man. Hell, you know what? Go. And in fact, fuck the woo-saw. Go Johnny Witherspoon right now, because no matter how shitty of a day you have, and things look a whole lot better if you take a good long shit.
That's it.
I'm sorry. Hey. We all realize that after taking a good long shit, you feel better about yourself.
Hey, everybody does. I mean, you gotta remember is that a lot of people do not understand this one thing. And I'm gonna say this directly to you, Pookie, and a lot of people in your generation. Be careful who you offend. Be careful who you offend, and be careful of the hand that feeds you, because it may become the ass you gotta kiss later.
Yeah.
And oftentimes people make this mistake of not realizing who they offend.
Or be wary of the company you keep.
Because if we say this to you out of love because we fucks with you, Pookie, not a lot of guys are going to. I'm gonna tell you that now. Not a lot of guys are gonna be this 100 factual with you.
You haven't seen the. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Charlie. I was gonna say, you haven't seen deception until you leave your house, brother. Once you leave your house, and like I said, you step out this panel where men are trying to, in a sense, they're trying to groom you so you have a better force field.
Prepare.
So you can, when you go in this real world and you see how crazy this shit is.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of motherfucking landmines when you step out your house, brother, that you don't even know where they're planted. This is why, again, the men on this panel have deep concern for you, because you're operating from a lens and a distance. You sit, and again, it's not me attacking you. I'm just speaking from what I'm listening. Listened to you for a while, and the fact that again you're still displaying certain behaviors. It's we're at a point. I tell you straight up, for me, your generation, just y'all is a young group. I'm at a point. I'm like, fucking go step on, go find out what this shit is for real. If you get blown the fuck up, it is what it is.
It pretty much is that's pretty much what they have to do anyway, because again, you have to look at it. Look how long they've been listening to the wrong people. That's why you're seeing the results that you're seeing out of these guys. You can't tell them nothing.
I hear you, but I'm using Pookie as an example. Pookie's been on this panel for a very long time, and there's a lot of wisdom that he's received, and many of these brothers,
I'm
just like that
wisdom, but all that they carrying on, the swearing, the grandstanding.
Hold on, Pook. Hold on. If you can't take grown man conversation, it's crazy to me.
It's grown man conversation, but there's a line between grown man conversation.
Yeah, but Pookie ain't no one attacking you, Pookie.
Ain't no yet. It's not about
ain't no one. Come on, Pookie. Hold on. So let me get this straight. Hold on. Let me just correct you on this. So you got no problem run up on a chick and correcting her, right?
No, I don't correct shit. She do what she do.
No. I'm asking you. If a chick do you dirty or do something wrong to you, you got no problem telling her for what it is, right?
I'm not finna correct shit. She her own person, G. That's not how shit runs.
Hold on. You didn't answer my question, brother.
I said I ain't gonna. So no.
So if she do you dirty, you're not gonna say nothing.
You're not gonna do me dirty. I'm not putting myself in that position. If I put myself in that position, that's on me. Like I said, I'm supposed to be smarter, right? I'm supposed to be more educated and be able to think myself out of the fucking problem, right? Instead of be bitching and complaining like that. That would be complaining, trying to correct her. Cause she gonna do what she gonna do, right?
Is that what you think that is?
Yeah.
And you think I'm glad you brought that up. Is that how you think?
I mean, yeah. She gonna do what she gonna do.
James, hold on, James. I
don't got no comment.
James.
Yep.
My man. You remember what I said about the whole female indoctrination and shit?
Yeah.
Here's something I think you failed to realize a couple things. He's also dealing in semantics, like earlier. But right now, when we try to talk to him, like when you said about
that was
when you try, hold on. Do you know what I was about to say? You want to finish my sentence for me?
I know you're making implications already, but go ahead.
What am I going to say? What was I going to say?
Go ahead.
You know what I was going to say?
You said,
what are you going to say?
What was I going to say?
That I'm dealing in semantics. That's what you just said.
All right. What was I going to say after that?
I'm not worried about that because I heard what you just said. And that
here's the point I was trying to get at right here about what he's saying.
All right.
I said he was because he's dealing in semantics right now. He's in his feelings. That was earlier. But right now, when you were trying to talk to him earlier, or a little bit, when you started saying what you were saying, James.
Yep.
Like a female, it's like what females do. It's not about what you said. It's about what he heard.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
I got nothing else to say. I got nothing else to say.
Yeah, and as soon as you said, as soon as he heard a certain word come out of your mouth, as soon as you said when you were trying to say what you were trying to say, and when you try to convey it, as soon as he heard one word or something, immediately she just shut down and tuned out.
It wasn't just that. I ain't tuning out. You're making a lot of assumptions. That's cool.
Hold on. I gotta ask this real interesting. How many 20-year-olds are having these conversations on panels? Because y'all should be better at this YouTube shit than us.
We don't work together from what y'all say.
How many red pill 20-year-olds are there?
I don't know.
Not really many. If any.
Well,
and I'm gonna say this why. Because there's a reason why you have to do a lot more listening at your age than talking. Because the experience, there's certain shit that if Edward Anderson came up here, he'll tell you. I can't tell Charles about being a father. Obsidian's in his 50s, and there's not a damn thing he could tell me about raising a child. People could say, well, it's kind of like, no, can't tell me shit about raising a child.
No.
You're responsible permanently for that motherfucker. So,
what if, but can we,
hold on.
Sorry.
What's the point of being up here with guys who are like late 30s, early 40s, sometimes even early 60s? What do you get out of that?
I'm hearing what y'all got to say. From where it was. And I came up here initially, this conversation was talking about it was talking about racism, then it steeped over to Andrew Tate and his complexion. That's what I was talking about. And then we started talking about his fighting
complexion. It's the fact that this, right?
Understand.
I want you to listen.
I'm listening.
Because what happens is when you made foolhardy comments about Tate, when I said you notice that nobody ever says they want to challenge Andrew Tate for a fight.
Yeah.
There's a real reason why. There's some motherfuckers on this earth, motherfuckers don't challenge.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm trying to tell you in school year. There are people, especially in my background from policing and military. One of my lieutenants, when I went to the academy, my class is 0705. That's been some years, right? Been a minute, right?
0705?
0705. The year 07, the 5th class. 0705.
Okay. Sorry. I'm from a different military.
That was when I joined the military, that was 99. Okay.
What month did you do? What month did you enlist?
June of 99.
Oh, I was like several weeks ahead of you.
Mm-hmm. So you got to realize something. When it comes to myself and Namer, we've been in the military longer than you've been alive.
Man,
okay.
Don't get me started. I don't need to start crying now.
It's not even shitting on you. It's just the truth.
And
one of my lieutenants now where I'm working, he went to the academy. I think his class was 8402.
We were toddlers at that time.
So it would be very disrespectful to talk about that man and he doesn't know how to police, right? Because the sergeant they fired, right? He tried to tell him he could tell him how to write a report. Do you know the type of cop you had to be back in the 80s in Baltimore?
Ooh.
And this
policing back then is not the same like it was. Policing in the 80s is not like it was in the 90s, just like it was in the 2010s, because the circumstances, the situations were transitioning in a sense.
And it was fucked up because you got to remember that was the crack epidemic. That was new. We did
that was basically that was the prequel to like what you see based on The Wire.
Mm-hmm.
The Wire just gave you was just a small sample of what life was like in the 90s and 2000s in Baltimore, my nigga. You lived it. You lived it. I'm just saying you lived it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you got to remember. That's when the breakdown of the black family exploded.
Super.
Like
I would say that was a fucking nuclear bomb.
A lot of you motherfuckers who are not from the 80s, y'all didn't see shit. There's times some of my ex-girlfriends who were like 35, they turned 35. They were born like 88, 89, 90.
Uh-huh.
So they're in their early to mid 30s. They don't remember the 80s. I remember the fucking 80s. It was one part of it was beautiful, and then it just got ugly.
Charles, I'm glad you brought that up, man. I'm glad you brought this, man. Whew.
And a lot of you motherfuckers, like this sergeant actually told this lieutenant that he knew more about writing reports of policing than him. When this motherfucker almost has a 40-year basically a 40-year career.
A database. A complete database.
He literally, this is how long ago he was a cop. He had a revolver. He had a 38 revolver.
He had the revolver.
Okay? Like, he had a 38 revolver. And you go ahead and
wait a
think
minute.
about...
When did they transition to automatics and semi-automatics?
I'll say what, 2000s?
In about the 90s. Late 90s. Because they
went from a 38 revolver to what? What was the standard issue for you guys afterwards?
Glock 17.
Glock 17.
All right. And they went to Glock 22s, which are 40 calibers.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. But the fact that, Charles, like you said a 38. This thing about how crime was so crazy, and motherfuckers are running out with 38s.
You can bang crime with a goddamn 38. A Saturday night special sometimes.
Call for it, man. I remember
with a big ass Magnum flashlight, dealing with some hardcore criminals, real killers, man.
Those men were built different. You know.
You ever seen? I remember. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You know, when a cop who comes from that era, that nigga was him. He is him.
You know what I mean? Like getting to real fist fights. I'm talking about muggings.
Like
they didn't have that. They didn't have the vests like you guys have.
Fuck no.
And a lot of those cops didn't have vests yet.
No,
you got to think. And then some of those cops only, and if they did have a small amount issued, they only had front panels.
That's it. You talk, and you even with the. I mean, you talking about what? I mean, no extra magazine. You talking about reloading a fucking revolver under stress
with a speed loader?
The fuck out.
If you're lucky. And I mean, you handling knifings. God damn, you going to? And let me tell you how
squad and how outdated were the squad cars? Like guard cars from the 70s and
way
shit.
Outdated, man. I mean,
a lot of those cars probably didn't even have air conditioning.
Charles,
or airbags.
Yeah. So you gotta go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, remember the robbery in California, where
you mean with the armor, with everybody with armored, covered in armor and shit with the military, the Bank of America,
right? Yes, the big bank robbery in California. You know, when them guys were on all types of drugs, had the full body armor, and when you watch the footage on YouTube and you look at what they were carrying and what the cops were carrying, it was like, who the fuck in their right mind would even take that type of risk?
Like you built different.
You built different. If you ever get a chance to go watch that footage, in my mind, I'm saying, yo, these motherfuckers ain't human. You going against dudes with full body armor. What they have, AK-47s?
AK-47s and everything.
AR-15s and AK-47s, and they had head-to-toe body armor.
Head-to-toe body, and on fucking, what they were on, what was it, what drug were they taking? They were on drugs too. They were high as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And you had how many squadron cars out there?
Yeah, they had to run to a local gun shop, and they had to go get
gun shop.
Think about it. Your police were outgunned, and they were still fighting.
Than a motherfucker.
And they were still fighting.
Oh wait! Hold on a second. Since Mr. Z's not here, I just have to say, nigga.
They were still fighting. Y'all don't understand the amount. Look.
How many cops got taken out? I remember watching. Was it on National Geographic, the documentary about that?
That is like Normandy level fucking invasion courage. That is like the invasion of Normandy level of courage. Like,
picture this, Charles. Think about this, Charles. The cops that were on the beat in the 70s, 80s, and into the 90s. Imagine the level of cop PTSD that they're still dealing with to this day. And how many of them, because I understand domestic violence is a huge issue in law enforcement, unfortunately.
Especially against cops.
Yeah. But imagine how many of those dudes they never went and sought help because there was a stigma towards mental health, and how many of them have ended up fucking up and been killed and
they died with it.
They died with it. Not only that, some of them resorted to like chain smoking, heavy drinking, heavy drinking,
heavy womanizing. Shit.
How many of them have like? I mean, who remembers Heat, the restaurant scene in Heat, where De Niro and Pacino are talking to each other?
Yeah.
And Pacino looked at it, and De Niro looked at him and said, "No, sorry, Vincent Hanna and Neil McCauley, that was their characters' names. McCauley, that's Neil McCauley, that was Robert De Niro. The detective Vincent Hanna, that was Al Pacino. So, you ever thought about having so when Hanna looked at him and said, you ever thought about having a normal life? And then McCauley looked at him and said, the fuck is that? What is that? Barbecue? What is that? Ball games and barbecues? Yeah, something like that. And they looked at, and then he asked Hanna, it's like, is that what you got? Hanna just looked at him and said, no. Nah. My life is a disaster. Got 2 bad marriages behind me. I'm on my 3rd, which is on the rocks. I got a stepdaughter who's all kinds of fucked up because her father's an uptight asshole. And my wife is on the verge of leaving me because I spend most of my time chasing you. Guys like you. That was a fucked up, and the fucked up part is they had to learn, they confided in each other because they were, although they were on opposite ends of this shit.
They were the same coin.
They were the same coin, opposite ends of the same coin, and they had the mutual respect and camaraderie, and they looked at each other and said, it's like when Hanna looked at McCauley and said, stop taking scores, and he said, I don't know how to do anything else.
It's true.
Neither do I. Wait, hold on. And then McCauley looked at him and said, I don't even want to do anything else. Neither do I. So we're stuck here.
I'm gonna tell you the real reason, and that's the truest statement ever, Namer.
Okay.
When you got out the military, well, you become a cop.
Ew. They said that Macaulay's character, De Niro's character, Neil McCauley, had a tattoo of the USMC.
Mm-hmm.
So he might have been a Marine.
So you got to remember, a guy like myself, I don't know anything else.
I don't blame you.
Skilled, don't get me wrong. I'm very skilled and multifaceted. I don't know if I know how to do anything else. I don't know that if maybe it's more likely I don't want to do anything else. It's very hard to, I'm going to put it to you this way. It's very hard to give up being Superman to go back to Clark Kent.
Oh, yeah. That explains it.
Even one of the female detectives I knew for years, she was actually an instructor at the academy before she went back to the detectives. She said the most red pill shit about women that I ever heard a woman honestly say.
What was that?
The reason why so many female officers fuck with male officers and sometimes cheat on their husbands who are not police or their boyfriends. And I will make the quote. It is so hard to go home to Clark Kent when you've been hanging out with Superman all day.
That's some real shit. That's some real G shit.
That's some red pill shit for your ass.
That's some real G shit. That's fire.
And y'all talking about, see, a lot of motherfuckers ain't gonna tell you they got some wise wisdom from women. Because when you get cool, that's why you need a very attractive, cool ass female friend. Because you'll hear some shit.
That's some
good. I've got a few female friends.
Hold on. The reason why I say that is, one, you learn how to create force fields from women. Because she's so attractive, yeah, you might want to fuck her, but it's more valuable to be her friend than fucking.
Oh, absolutely.
And then two, she got pretty women usually hang around who? Other pretty women.
Other pretty women.
You'll get more pussy than you'll multiply your pussy just hanging around her. And then two, they will tell you some shit that you will never think you would hear from a woman, especially honestly. When they know that they can confide in you and they tell you honesty, they'll tell you all kinds of shit women. The reason why I said that.
Sorry, what was that last bit?
They'll tell you shit that women will never tell you. Break it down.
And he'll be back.
And it's like when I try to explain this shit to Pookie, a man of experience will be able to tell you that and articulate that very easily. Hello?
I'm back. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. And you got to understand, like, when Pookie thinks that people are picking on him, you couldn't be one of my friends if you can't take us ragged on you.
Hell no.
You know what the beautiful thing about being with the smaller unit in the for the security and special police for Lexington markets?
What?
We call each other pieces of shit. We cuss each other out. The lieutenants will cuss out the officers. Officers joke on the lieutenants and sergeants. But guess what? If somebody's in a fight, everybody's there. You kill the camaraderie being an asshole.
Oh man.
People don't understand how much a military unit and how much men need camaraderie. Studies have been shown that men die without having communal relationships with other men. What I mean by communal, having fun with other men. You don't understand. This manosphere space saved a lot of men's lives.
It has.
We lost somebody last year, didn't we? Or the year before last?
2 years.
2 years ago.
It's been 2 years now?
It's been 2 years, going on 2 years now.
Yeah.
Oh, man, what?
You got to think about it.
You got to understand. We don't know what was going through that brother, because usually they hide it before they end it. They try to make it look like everything's okie-dory, and then that's when it comes out of nowhere. I mean, you think that you knew. I mean, I lost an uncle suspiciously to suicide back in 2004. Although, my family don't want to talk about it.
Hey, gentlemen, I got to run, man, but I appreciate y'all and love y'all, man.
Hey, James. All right. Stay safe, man.
All right. Thanks a lot, Charles.
All right, fellas. Well, that's a good note to end it on. Come back and might do it sometime this week. Woo! We are out.
Peace out.